Well, live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida, it's time for the second of the three-game SWAC opening series here in 2025 for Bethune-Cookman baseball as the Wildcats continue to take on the Alcorn State Braves. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Bryce Reinowski joins me live behind home plate as we are back from Atlanta and our adventures in SWAC basketball tournament land. I'm sure we'll have a lot to say on that as the evening goes along. But back to baseball mode, Bryce, and a Wildcat team that last night really poured the offense on, winning 15-4.
Nice start to SWAC play for the Wildcats. And what I think we came into this weekend thinking was we knew the Bats had the ability to beat it. This is an Alcorn State team that has struggled, to put it lightly, over the last couple of years, especially on the pitching side. But this is an Alcorn State team at the same time that does have the Bats that have put up some decent scores over the last handful of weekends. So more of that tonight. Joel Corey coming off a little bit of a rough weekend at FGCU last weekend, hoping that he can resume some of the early season form we've seen from him, give the Wildcat Bats a chance to do a little bit more what they did last night, which was a 7-inning run rule.
The Wildcats send this lineup to defend. In left field, it's Darrell Lee. In center field, it's Daniel Figueroa. Andrew Martinez is in right. Jorge Gonzalez-Febo makes his second start of the season after returning from injury. He had a big night last night. We'll talk about that when he gets a chance to bat. Jeter Poyeto is at short. Jesus Venegas at second. Manny Schifrin at first. Jorge Rodriguez behind the plate. And Joel Corey on the mound, making his fifth start of the season. Corey, a .587 ERA through 4 appearances, all starts. 23 innings pitched. He's given up 17 runs on 24 hits, 15 earned, striking out 37 and walking 5. He's got one of the best strikeout to walk ratios in all of Division I through the first month of the season, Bryce.
I mean, he's been unbelievable. Some of the outings we've seen from him early on in this season have been akin to what we saw from only Nolan Santos, who's now well on his way to trying to play all the way in the major league. So if we can get anywhere close to that tonight, he's going to make light work of Alcorn State. Wildcats are very much in need of that as their pitching staff continues to be a little banged up early in the season, so going the distance, giving them some innings, very important as always.
Although we were talking to Marcos Gamboa up here before we got started today, and he says he's on the mend and eager to make his return. First pitch of the night is a ball inside, ball one to Rayfield Adams, the left-hander who stands in. He plays center field. Adams on the season, one of two Alcorn State Braves batting over 400, batting .457, the highest on the team. Ball count 2-0. In 46 at-bats, he's got 15 runs on 21 hits as he watches a ball upstairs and out 3-0. Four doubles, 2 triples for Adams as he watches one down the middle, and it's strike one. Alcorn State coming into tonight, a 2-12 record, 0-1 in the conference after the loss last night. There's a strike at the knees. Adams didn't agree with it. He thought it was low and inside, and the count runs full after Corey fell behind 3-2. And that one's floated towards right field and down for a base hit. So just like last night, Rayfield Adams starts the game with a base knock to shallow right field.
Well, it could be in for a rough night if ABs are going to go like that consistently. Gets down in the count 3-0. It's pretty tough to recover consistently if that's what you're doing. So we're going to need him to attack the zone early. No need to nibble. I mean, we know, like I said, Alcorn can hit the ball a little bit. They put a hurting on Alabama A&M last weekend, but no need to get cute with it early.
So a runner on, first nobody out, as the Wildcats want to do. They will throw over to first early and often. The batter is Ben Martin. Martin, a .271 hitter. 9 runs on 13 hits, 4 doubles, a homer, and 12 RBI. And Corey from the stretch. Fastball strike outside corner at the knees to the second baseman, Martin. This is a Alcorn State team that can mash the baseball, as we saw in their last weekend series against Alabama A&M. They'll check over at first again. After losing the first game 7-4, they dominated the Bulldogs in the next 2 games, winning 15-12 and 21-11. The 0 run from Corey. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. It is very windy out here at the Jack today, swirling around, but mostly blowing out towards left, which is a rarity here at the Jack. So we may see some power hitters, especially right-handers, get some love from the breeze tonight. Here's the 0-2 from Corey. Breaking ball, chopped towards short. It's going to be taken by the third baseman, Fabo, who fires across. And there's one away, but the runner does advance to third.
Well, that's a guy the Wildcats love to have back. Banged up early in the season with some hand injuries, Gonzalez-Fabo, but both defensively, leadership on and off the field, bat. Made his first appearance in the lineup last night. He was used as a pinch runner a handful early in the season, but Gonzalez-Fabo has really emerged as a sophomore in the offseason as a guy the Wildcats are looking to for a whole lot of leadership.
I said Adams advanced to third. That was incorrect. Adams advanced to second. First pitch away outside to Jermel Ford, who also got the start last night, pitched 4 2/3 innings, gave up 9 runs on 5 hits all earned. Ford, big cut and miss at the slider. And it's 1-1. Ford batting .375, 10 runs on 12 hits, a double, a triple, and 9 RBI, looking for number 10 right now with Adams in scoring position. Corey deals. Breaking ball doesn't catch the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. And what's made Joel Corey so good early on in the season is he hasn't walked a ton of guys. Yes, the 37 strikeouts are gaudy, but only the 5 walks. The 2-1 is in the inside corner for a strike, and it's 2-2. And again, you talk about Nolan Santos, and yes, the strikeouts were flashy for Nolan, but, I mean, he didn't walk anybody. We talked about Bo Cabello last year. One of the reasons he got SWAC first team was he just didn't walk anybody. Here's the 2-2 from Corey. Swing and a miss. Buckled him with the changeup. And it's a second strikeout for Joel. There's not a lot first strikeout for Joel on the night, and there's 2 away.
Not a lot of guys on this pitching staff or around this league in the SWAC that have the put-away stuff that Joel Corey does. And that one is nearly impossible to lay off of. It's right there in the zone, but it ducks away just at the last second. That's a killer put-away pitch.
Here's the third baseman, Nathan Gomez, in the exact same spot he was in the first inning last night. And he hits one high in the air, left center field and deep. That one is going to be gone off the scoreboard. A 2-run Oppo Taco shot for Nathan Gomez. Well, not only does he do what he did last night, which was drive in Adams from second, he goes one better and gives the Braves a 1-0 lead.
Well, like we said, while the pitching has not always been consistent with this Alcorn program over the last couple of years, the bats are still very much there. It's one of those things in Division I baseball. No matter how far down the rung you get, there are athletes, there are players at every level. And if you leave one over the middle like that, you miss your spot like that, there are guys, especially in the heart of this batting order, who are capable of taking it the other way. And anytime you go opposite field with that kind of power at this level, very impressive.
Home run number 1 on this season for Nathan Gomez, and that's a big one. It gives Alcorn a 2-0 lead. Corey, first pitch swinging, a grounder to third by Mason Duke. Fabo makes the play over at first. What a stretch by Soufrain to pick it up off the turf. The Wildcats got out of it. 2 runs, 2 hits, nobody left, and we go to the bottom of the first. Alcorn State 2, Wildcats coming to bat. This is Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the CatEye Network. We go to the bottom of the first here at the Jack. Wildcats with some work to do, down 2-0 already after the 2-run home run by Nathan Gomez. And the Wildcat lineup will face the starter for Alcorn State, Luke Sanders, the right-hander.
Whoops.
Sorry
Monitoring the stream, and it's loud as can be.
There may be some of that tonight. We are both a little tired. Okay, a lot tired.
Oh, it's been a long week.
Darrell Lee stands in. Had 2 hits and 2 RBI last night in the 15-4 win. Sanders, the big lefty pitcher, sidearm action, will run away from lefties and towards righties. And the first pitch to Lee is inside, almost hit him, and it did indeed hit him. So 1 pitch and a runner aboard for the Wildcats, and my mind immediately flashes back to the Maryland Eastern Shore game 2 weeks ago.
Well, it starts like that, to an inning, to an AB, and a 1-pitch hit batter that are going to lead you down a slippery slope pretty quickly. We've seen the Wildcats pretty apt to take advantage of early opportunities like that, whether it's an ability to throw strikes, hit batters, they'll make you pay.
Here's Jesus Venegas. First pitch to him, swinging a chopper foul into the Wildcat dugout down the third baseline. Venegas batting .254, 12 runs on 17 hits, a double, a triple, 3 homers, and 7 RBI. Do you know off the top of your head how many home runs the Wildcats have hit so far this year? It's a ton.
Compared to last couple of years, I want to say it's around 17 or 18 on the year. I have the stats in front of me. I can pull that up for you. It is 18. Which all of the last regular season combined, they hit 14 as a team.
Here's the 0-1 to Venegas. Big breaking ball that caught the inside corner. Didn't look like it from my angle, but the home plate umpire, Kevin Boltron, disagrees, and it's 0-2 to Venegas. Now he's got to protect the plate here. Luke Sanders deals, swinging a foul away. We'll do it again. Sanders comes to Alcorn State from Savannah State, where he played his first 3 college seasons. He followed his coach, Coach Carlton Hardy, who's the first-year head coach here at Alcorn, spent the last 2 decades at Savannah State. The 0-2, big breaking ball that's punched into center field for a base hit. Rounding second and going to third is Lee. Here comes the throw. It's cut off, and Lee's going to go from first to third. That is some perfect offense by Venegas. It's just taking what the pitcher gives you, and sometimes the slowest molasses curveball.
And there's been times early in the season where we've maligned the Wildcats for not putting together swings like that. You know, it's early, you get hit by the pitch to start it off, and immediately you go to the big swing, the home run, the big gapper type swing, and to just kind of sit back on it, just punch a nice easy one out into the outfield, that's easy money.
Now I'm sure if Sanders continues to throw that, the Wildcats can time it up and mash some of those. But right now, that's just all you need. First pitch, a fastball low to Jorge Rodriguez. Rodriguez, the catcher tonight, batting a gaudy .462, but only 26 at-bats as they throw back to first. The Wildcats, with runners on the corners, do like to double steal and just try and move that guy over to second and punish opponents for throwing down there. That's a swing and a drive down the left field line, and it's foul as it hit the top of the clubhouse. And the count is 1-1 on the catcher, Rodriguez. I mentioned hitting .462, just 26 at-bats, 7 runs on 12 hits, 5 doubles, 2 homers, and 12 RBIs. He tries to time up Luke Sanders here with runners on the corners, nobody out. There's a breaking ball hit in the air off the end of the bat towards right center field. Going back is the center fielder, Adams. He makes the catch. Darrell Lee's going to tag and score, and the Wildcats are on the board. Simple as you like. Hit by pitch, single sac fly, and it's 2-1.
Now batting, number 29, the third baseman, Jorge Gonzalez.
So Lee is in to score. And now here's Fabo, who had a terrific night last night as he tries to barrel one up and just pulls one foul down the left field line. That one went a mile. I wouldn't be surprised if that one ended up in the river. Fabo looking to mash him. Had a couple of home runs last year. But last night, 4 at-bats, 3 runs, 3 hits, a double and no RBI, slugging 1,000. 1 on, 1 out, 1 in. As a spin and a throwback to first by Sanders. So Sanders doesn't really spin and throw back to first. He kind of just turns. The advantage of being a lefty, I guess. I'm not a lefty, so I can't speak to it.
Kind of always blows my mind why anybody ever leads too far off of the lefty.
Ground ball to second. This could be 2. Flip to second for 1 on to first, double play, and that's the end of the inning. Well, the Wildcats had a ton of promise. They get the first 2 on, but a sac fly on a double play ends the frame. 1 run, 1 hit, and 1 left. And we go to the second inning. It's 2-1 Alcorn State here on the CatEye Network. To the second we go here at the Jack, 2-1 Alcorn State. On the 2-run home run by Nathan Gomez. Back in the first inning, Callum Banks, the first baseman, will lead off. Apologies, a bit of technical difficulties. We're trying to sort through it. Banks batting 196, lowest in the starting order for Alcorn State tonight as Corey deals righty to righty, bounces it to the plate, a ball and no strikes. Banks, 46 at-bats, 4 runs, 9 hits, 5 doubles, a team high, and 1 homer. Six RBI for Banks on the season. As the pitch is in the dirt again. As the scoreboard is gone, and I'm not.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
We're not the only ones.
It's a weird day out here at the Jack. Corey works quickly, and 3 balls on the scoreboard now. Corey working very quickly and walks him. I think Corey needs to slow down a little bit. I think that home run in the first inning may have rattled him just a touch.
Now batting number 10, the catcher.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to move too fast. This Wildcats team is one that likes to pitch with pace.
So now Banks on first for the second straight inning. The Braves have 1 on, nobody out. And here's Jeremiah Farmer, batting .208, just 24 at-bats for Farmer. 3 runs on 5 hits, first pitch of ball. So 5 straight balls for Corey. Farmer, 3 runs on 5 hits, 1 double, no RBI. 1 on first, nobody out. And the pitch. Upstairs ball 2, 6 straight balls for Corey. Not the guy you would expect to lose command like this, especially so early in the game. The 2-0. Fires one right down the middle for strike one. The scoreboard out in left field has been restored to working order, maybe. The balls and strikes still aren't up there.
As long as they got the pitch clock somewhere, that's really what's most important.
The 2-ball, 1 strike from Corey. Foul back to the screen, and it's 2-2. Farmer, the catcher for Alcorn State tonight, has taken 2 walks on the season, struck out 10 times. And the 2-2 from Joel Corey. Breaking ball hammered to deep left center field, going back to the track, to the wall. It's a ground rule double. Well, Alcorn State is all over Joel Corey in the first 2 innings tonight, something I did not expect to say when walking into the ballpark today.
Well, it's not that different from the way the UMES series went. And we've been talking on the road with basketball, kind of amongst ourselves around the weekend, is we kind of anticipated there was a possibility that it could look like this. And Alcorn has the bats. They certainly showed the bats last weekend against Alabama A&M. And they're the kind that if you give them the opportunity, they do have the guys to take advantage. And if Corey's getting too cute with it, maybe trying to go for those strikeouts we've seen so many of early in the season, you never know.
First pitch, a ground ball foul outside of third by Gavin Caston. Caston, the junior, batting .290, 3 runs on 9 hits, 2 RBI. Caston playing right field today for the Braves. Corey, second and third, nobody out, bounces one to the plate. Nice job by Rodriguez behind the plate to keep it there. And it's not like Alcorn got nothing last night. They scored 4 runs off 8 hits off a complete game by Tanner Bocabello. Fouled straight back, and it's a ball and 2 strikes on Caston. Bocabello behind the plate on ball boy duty, as is tradition on Coach Hernandez's teams. If you pitched the night before, you're delivering the balls to the umpire. Check swing. Did he go? No. Ball outside, 2-2. But you don't expect Bocabello to give up 8 hits in a complete game like that, so. 2-2. Soft ground ball, foul outside of third, trickles into the Wildcat dugout. And the count holds 2-2. A dangerous position here for the Wildcats, already down 2-1. Second and third, nobody out. Corey deals. That one's hammered into left center field. That's going to be a double in the alley. Trotting home is Banks, and Farmer holds at third. And Caston holds to a single.
Well, really, outside of the strikeout in the first inning, Corey hasn't missed a whole lot of bats. I mean, fouling off just about everything when it comes to firing stuff over the plate. It's either been misses in the dirt or well outside inside or stuff that's been fouled off. And when you're able to do that, eventually the bat goes on the ball and it finds its way in play. And it's going to be a little bit of an early check-in from Joel Sanchez on his Saturday starter. It's looked a little rough. You hope this doesn't become a trend now.
9-hole hitters going to bat for Alcorn State with nobody out in the second, 1 already in. It's been a walk to Banks, a ground rule double by Farmer, and a single by Caston. And there's runners on the corners with nobody out. And this Wildcats team, which has got the benefit of so much good pitching over the last couple of years. We were talking about this on the road this afternoon. It hasn't been up to the same standard once you get past Tanner Bocabello on Friday nights that we've been used to seeing. And even Joel Corey, who looked so good early on, has dropped off pretty precipitously in his last 2 starts.
And it takes a rotation. I mean, a lot of times at this level, it's your Friday night guy, and then it's hope for the best. This Wildcats team aspires for more than that. They've consistently put out a really solid weekend rotation under Coach Hernandez. They're expecting a lot from everybody, and if anybody continues to slip up, they won't be afraid to make a change in the rotation. So you just hope for Corey that this is, again, doesn't become a trend. That's just a couple of off nights.
Nine-hole hitter Samuel Leonard watches a fastball strike at the knees. The sophomore batting 171 has started all 14 games for Alcorn. 5 runs on 7 hits, 3 RBI for Leonard. Squares to bunt, bunts it foul. I'm not sure I've ever seen a bunt go that high up on the netting. It almost looked like a foul ball.
Had some pace on it, too.
Leonard, the sophomore from Holtzville, New York. With runners at the corners, nobody out and one already in, faces an 0-2 count from Joel Corey. Here's the pitch. Upstairs by the face mask, and it's 1-2. And that put-away pitch, that breaking ball from Corey as he deals, and it's grounded toward third. On to second. There's one. Across to first. There's a double play. Well, the Wildcats get 2 big outs. Jeremiah Farmer does come in to score, so it is 4-1 Alcorn State. But the 5-4-3 double play means now there's nobody on and 2 out for the leadoff hitter, Rayfield Adams.
How good has Fabo been defensively early on in this game? Made that one easy, tough play, quick developing play, makes the right decision.
First pitch, a swing and a foul into the turtle's nest down the right field line by Rayfield Adams. Punched a single to shallow right his first time up, came in to score on the Gomez home run. And punches one foul straight back 0-2. So now both teams have hit into double plays when they're in a pretty good position offensively. But just through 2 innings, as the pitch is upstairs, 1-2. Just through 2 innings, Alcorn State has already scored as many runs as they did in 7 innings last night. Corey trying to get out of it, the 1-2. Low and inside, 2-2. Adams, the junior from Jackson, Mississippi. Right at a lefty, here's the 2-2. Inside, almost hit him. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you can't get behind 3-0 like Corey's done a couple of times so far, and you can't let guys work their way back in with 2 strikes. That's 3 pretty easy takes.
And ball 4 is couldn't find the zone with the curveball, so the inning will continue. What do we talk about so often on these broadcasts, Bryce? Getting out of the inning with 2 outs and nobody on.
And that's a really tough AP. I mean, you had him. You had him dead to rights, and then you didn't throw anything worth a swing for the rest of the AB. It wasn't like anything was close. You know, we didn't see the changeup he went too early. Just nibbled and could not find the edge.
Spinning a throwback to first. The batter is Ben Martin, who grounded out to third his first time up. Martin, the junior, from Cutoff, Louisiana, and yes, that is a real place. Although with some of the places that we've been in our time covering the Wildcats, you wouldn't surprise me that any place name is real. And
Lorman, Mississippi, maybe being one of those. We love Alcorn, though.
High pop. That'll make the seats on the third base side, and it's 0-1 to Martin after an 0-2 count. I mean, I was on the phone with my brother a couple months ago, and I told him that some of the places we'd gone, Norman, Mississippi, Itabena, Grambling, Louisiana. He said, and I quote, "You cannot convince me that those are real places." 0-1. Check swing. The ball pops out of Rodriguez's glove, and so taking second base on a steal is Rayfield Adams. Adams' 5th steal of the season, but the count is 0-2 on Martin, and with 2 outs, you just got to focus on the batter here. And Bryce, I've been to most of those places, and I still sometimes am not convinced that they're real places.
God's country, man. Beautiful. Beautiful areas, just not a whole lot necessarily going on outside of the 2 universities. Which
I think they sent Adams back to first.
So, foul ball?
I'm guessing foul ball. Pitch outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ben Martin. something my coach always used to say to me growing up is with 2 outs, just focus on the batter. But as Corey spins and throws back to first for a 3rd time in this AB. If you get the batter out, the guy on first doesn't matter. The 1-2. Breaking ball. Whoa! Forces Martin to fling his bat out of his hands on the swing and miss. Second K for Corey. But the damage is done. 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the second. Wildcats down by 3, 4-1 here on the CatEye Network. Wildcats with some work to do as we go to the bottom of the second, down 4-1 to Alcorn State. They got 1 in the first on a Darrell Lee hit by pitch, a Venegas single, a Jorge Rodriguez sac fly, but then Gonzalez Fable grounded into an inning-ending double play, and it'll be Andrew Martinez to lead off for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the second. Still facing Luke Sanders, the senior out of Beaufort, South Carolina, played 3 seasons at Savannah State and followed his head coach here to Alcorn in the offseason. And the lefty deals to the righty Martinez. Called strike 1, outside and low. Sanders making his 2nd start of the year, had his only start 7 days ago against Alabama A&M in the middle game of that 3-game series. Breaking ball upstairs, 1-1. In that game, he threw 7 complete innings, gave up 6 runs on 8 hits, 5 earned. The 1-1, outside 2-1. Walked 3, struck out 3, gave up 3 doubles and a homer in the 15-12 win for Alcorn over the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. The 2-1. Big swing and a miss, way ahead of that breaking ball, 2-2. And that's probably the best pitch Sanders has thrown so far tonight. Just dropped the floor right out from underneath it. And now he's got a chance to get Martinez out of there. Here's the 2-2. Punched him out on the bottom edge of the strike zone. First strikeout for Sanders and his 14th of the season. Andrew Martinez has struck out now 9 times on the year.
Sanders has an interesting delivery. It's very compact, very quick. Doesn't really have a ton of wind-up. Kind of whips it in there.
Here's Manny Soufrain. Tips it foul, 0-1. Soufrain batting .308, 15 runs on 16 hits, 2 doubles, a triple, 2 homers, and 11 RBI. And even though he's batting over 300, I don't think Soufrain is having the kind of season that he would have wanted coming into his senior year. Watches a strike low at the knees. The strike zone for Kevin Boltron is way low. At least that's how it appears to me sitting behind home plate. Soufrain down 0-2. Way outside with the fastball. And it's 1-2. Soufrain unfortunately, has become a bit of a strikeout merchant over the last couple years. 15, that's the second most on the team behind Venegas, as he's behind on the count 1-2. As he holds off on the slow stuff and rips it foul opposite field, and it's 1-2 again.
Fortunate thing for Manny is, though the strikeout numbers are up, he has done a good job to negate that with a good number of walks taken, hit by pitches. That's why the OBP has been solid over the last couple of years.
1-2 in the dirt, 2-2. His OBP this season is .478. That's because he's taken 17 free passes as opposed to those 15 strikeouts.
So as frustrating as those are, if you can consistently get on base, that's your modern ball player.
2-2, slider misses outside. I'm not even sure what to call that. It's got lateral break, so I called it a slider, but it's just kind of loops out of his hand.
It is kind of odd.
The 3-2. Turns on it and pops it sky high into shallow center field. Moving over is the center fielder. Adams makes the catch. 2 away. And after a really good at-bat to come back from an 0-2 count, Soufrain pops out, and here's Jose Fernandez with nobody on and 2 out. And I don't know, maybe the worst thing the Wildcats could do here is go quietly and not respond after Alcorn has put up 4 in the first 2 innings.
Well, if every AB looks like the one for Soufrain, at least you can get to the bullpen.
There's a strike. I can't make Boltron strike zone. It's low past the knees. It's wide into the opposite batter's box. The 0-1. You're going to get a lot of strikeouts with a strike zone like that. And, Koresh needs to use that the other way. Quickly 0-2 to Jose Fernandez. He watches one low, and, well, watching anything low is going to be dangerous right now.
Keep getting down early. Soufrain got down early. Fernandez gets down early. You can work your way back in, that's fine. But again, the Alcorn bullpen is not a deep one. If you can get to it, you should be able to put some stuff together no matter how good Sanders is.
Fastball outside and low. We don't have the pitch the pitch velocity operating this evening, I noticed. The track
Maybe
man
when the
not
board
working.
went down, did it stop? I don't remember seeing it before that, though.
Anyway, here's the 2-2. Breaking ball. Big swing and miss. The ball bounces off the glove of the catcher, Farmer. He'll recover and throw to first to end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Cats. We go to the third. Wildcats looking for some anchors defensively as they're down 4-1 here on the CatEye Network. Jermel Ford, the DH, leads off for Alcorn State as we begin the third. It's 4-1 Braves over the Wildcats here in the second of this 3-game set. Conference opening set at the Jack. Corey misses outside with a breaking ball. He got Ford to swing and miss at a third strike, his first time up, but he's behind 1-0. Big cut and miss by Ford. Ford has only played in 8 games so far, 32 at-bats, 10 runs on 12 hits, a double, a triple, and 9 RBI, as a pitch clock violation is going to be called on Jamel Ford, and he strikes out because of it. Okay, stats man. Is that a reverse K? A normal K? What are we calling here?
Well, it's definitely not swinging, so we're going to go reverse.
But it can't be looking either.
The third baseman.
All right, I'll put it in as a reverse K and then pitch clock.
That is a good question. Obviously, this stat program that every Division I baseball program in the country uses is not equipped with a pitch clock violation strike, because this is from the 60s this program came out. So I'll try to check some forums between innings to see if there's a conclusive answer on how that is scored.
Of course you weren't going to get an easy one. Drive 7 hours this afternoon to get here, and it's like, oh, they threw a conundrum at you in the 3rd inning.
Listen, if the worst that comes of that is that I've got the L versus the S after the K, and it might be the wrong one, then that's a big win in my book for as long as
all I've written in my scorebook is reverse K, pitch clock.
We're going to go to the trusty SID forums and see what we can scrub up on that one.
We've got a bit of a conversation between Colton Hardy, the head coach for Alcorn State, and the home plate umpire, Kevin Boltron. Colton Hardy, the former player at Grambling State, so we know he's the SWAC, but he played in 89 and 91. First team All-Conference in 1990 and 1991. Played a couple of years of semi-pro ball in the early 90s. And then in 1998, took the head coaching job of Talladega College. Then it was at Olivier Nazarene. And then in 2006, was hired at Savannah State. And he was there until just last year. Big cut and miss by Nathan Gomez with 1 away in the 3rd. Gomez hit that towering home run to left center field. His first time up to put the Braves on the board, at that time 2-0. They now lead at 4-1. Low and inside, 2 balls and a strike to Gomez. Nathan Gomez, a junior from San Antonio, Texas, tapped right in front of the plate, fielded by Rodriguez. He throws to first in time to record the out. So the swinging bunt goes against Gomez, and there's 2 away. And that'll bring up Mason Duke, who grounded out to 3rd to end the 1st. His first time up.
Now batting, number 11, the left fielder, Mason Duke.
Duke, the redshirt sophomore out of Baytown, Texas. Looking for his first hit of the evening. Takes a strike, going 1. Had 2 hits last night, Duke, in the loss, but didn't get a run and didn't get an RBI. So 2 of the 8 hits, but not responsible for any of the 4 runs. Here's the 1-1. It's big cut and miss on the off-speed down low, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
Not that anyone cares anymore, but I did finally track down the answer to the previous question. It goes in as a strikeout, looking on a pitch clock violation for the 3rd strike.
So we were correct. And we almost, I think, had a pitch clock violation again against Duke. You hear Coach Hernandez chirping from the dugout saying his eyes are not locked on the pitcher. That should be a violation. Anyway, here's the 1-2 with a chance to get out of the inning. Low and away, trying to get a swing, and it's 2-2. Duke has started just 6 of the 18 games for Alcorn State this year. Big cut and a foul back. Right between the catcher's legs as Rodriguez gets another ball and throws it back to the pitcher. 2-2, 2 out, nobody on. Wildcats trying to get the Braves to go quietly for the first time all night. And it's softly grounded to second. Charging is Venegas. This is going to be a close play at first, and he's safe. The speedy Mason Duke beats it out with a head first slide. And once again, the Wildcats can't get off the field with 2 outs.
The ever rare slide into first base. It's one of those plays that, you go back and forth. Does it really add an extra bit of speed? Is it really worth the risk of hurting yourself? But he beat it out there, so
I think he would have been safe either way. That was a really slow roller towards second, and Mason Duke is a fast guy. And now there's a runner on with 2 outs, and the batter is Callum Banks, who walked and scored his first time up. That began the second slider strike outside corner 0-1.
Yeah, I think if Venegas had that one back, I think he would have liked to have charged it a little bit more instead of waiting on it. But again, might not have made a difference.
Throw back to first. Duke in safely. Callum Banks, the first baseman, senior out of Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, we were just there.
Don't remind me.
No balls and a strike to count. That one spiked by Corey. Nice job by Rodriguez behind the plate. 1-1. If you listen to last night's broadcast with Kenny Scherlinger, thank you, Kenny, for filling in for us while we were on the road. As here's the 1-1. Throw back to first. He did mention that it is one of the farthest backstops from home plate in all of college baseball. That's because this is not a college field. It's a professional field that the Wildcats use, normally the home of the Daytona Tortugas. Here's the 1-1. Fouled off the end of the bat, 1-2. So there's a lot of pressure on catchers in this ballpark, and we've seen it bite many a catcher.
Adds all the more danger to any time you get a runner on third. No matter the outs, no matter the score, always got to pay a little bit extra attention back there.
1-2. Hammer to center field. That is going to drop in and bounce over the head of Figueroa and go all the way to the wall. Mason Duke, with his speed, is going to score all the way from first. It's going to be a triple for Callum Banks. And it's 5-1 Alcorn State. My goodness.
Well, that's a very rare miscue for Daniel Figueroa out there. We know a lot of the reason he continues to get reps out there is because of how sturdy he is in the outfield, and that's one that, yeah, if this was a natural grass ballpark, it probably doesn't get over his head. It probably bounces very easy in front of him. But we played enough in this ballpark to know that those kind of hops happen. Yeah. He waited for it to come to him, didn't back up, stayed in place, bounces way over his head with no chance at it.
First pitch, a breaking ball strike inside corner to Jeremiah Farmer. Now a runner on third with 2 down. Oh, boy.
That's a bad break. You went from getting out free for the first time to chipping another one on.
High pop, third base side out of play, 0-2. And how many times has Corey been in 0-2 counts tonight and given up hits? It's been 3 or 4. Another chance to get out of the inning. Outside batter's box, and it's 1-2. They're just not swinging at 0-2 counts.
Yeah, it's ABs like this that are causing most of the problems for Corey. I mean, he's about to throw pitch number 65, and he's been ahead in a good number of counts, especially after the first.
In the dirt, 2-2. And it's not like you can just kind of put it in the zone and trust your defense, because they've been finding the gaps pretty consistently tonight, Alcorn State. 2-2 off the end of the bat. Sliced foul into the road on Orange Avenue. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Callum Banks awaits on third after his RBI triple scored Mason Duke. Another 2-2. Spike to the plate, 3-2. And I would not be surprised if the Wildcats bullpen, which got a break last night after the complete game for Tanner Bocabello, starts warming up already.
If I'm Farmer, I'm probably keeping the bat on my shoulders here.
Full count. He doesn't, and it's a base hit single to right center field off a fastball down the middle. Scoring from third is Banks, and it's 6-1 Braves.
What a dismantling early this has been for Alcorn State. And really, you mentioned it, the plate discipline has been the most impressive part of all. Because, yeah, I mean, there's been some bad misses for Corey. But we see a lot of teams at this level go out of their way to swing at bad pitches. And they have not done it. They have continued to force Corey to throw good pitches. And when he's done it, they've missed in the middle, and they've been put out into the outfield like that one.
5 runs on 7 hits in 2 2/3. Sorry, 6 runs now. 2 in each inning. Swing and a miss. Count 0-1 to Jeremiah Farmer, who hit the ground rule double to left center field his first time up. Came in to score on the single by Kevin Gaston. Breaking ball strike 0-2. And already we've got some throwing out there in the Wildcat bullpen, and a bullpen that has not been great this year.
It certainly doesn't need the extra pressure on it.
Upstairs and in 1-2. Again, 0-2 count, misses pretty badly out of the zone and gives an easy one to the batter to just lay off of. Again, a game against a team like Alcorn where the pitching staff is so shaky is never over. Here's the 1-2. Big cut and miss. And finally the Wildcats get out of the inning on the 3rd strikeout for Joel Corey. But 2 more runs on 3 hits, all with 2 outs. It's 6-1 Alcorn State as we go to the bottom of the 3rd here on the CatEye Network. Well, the Wildcats have a lot of work to do, down 6-1. But it's still only the bottom of the 3rd, plenty of time left. As Armani Newton laces one to left field, that's going to drop in for a base hit and eat up Duke as the ball squirts to the wall. Newton rounds first. He's going to second. He's going to go all the way to 3rd. Here's the relay throw. It gets away, and it's a triple for Armani Newton. Well, a defensive error by Daniel Figueroa in the top of the inning, countered by a defensive mistake. Not an error, just a mistake by Duke out there in left field as he slams his glove on the ground. And Jeter Poyeto, after starting this season about as cold as you could possibly be, has had about 2 really good weekends back-to-back.
Well, and that was kind of the opposite play what we saw with Figueroa. Figgy kind of waited on it. This time comes in on it, kind of bounces through him almost, because, again, that turf eating guys up tonight. It's a little unpredictable, but make no mistake about it, it can act like a trampoline out there at times.
0-1 the count to Daniel Figueroa, trying to make up for that mistake in the outfield. Outside, the count's 1-1. The 1-1. Chopper towards short. That should get the run in. At short, Leonard loses his hat but makes the play. And it's going to be a sacrifice ground out for Figueroa, and the Wildcats are back on the board. And with 1 away in the inning, it's 6-2.
That was another one where the turf kind of had its way. Luckily, get the body in front of it, get the glove in front of it, knocks it down enough to make the play over there. But nice to see a little bit of sign of life from the Wildcats.
And now we're back to the top of the order. Here's Darrell Lee, who scored the other Wildcat run. First pitch, a slider outside from Sanders. Lee was hit by a pitch in the first, went to third on a single by Venegas, and then was sack flied home by Jorge Rodriguez. There's a loose paper bag in the outfield as time is called.
Yeah, I saw that fly out from, I think, the press box. It must have been upstairs. I saw it kind of drifting in from above.
Somebody in the
Although
Wildcats.
how windy it is today, who knows? It could have come from anywhere.
Lee hammers that one foul, and then the Wildcats are just a little ahead of that really slow off-speed. I'm going to call it a changeup from Sanders. We don't have the pitch speed out there working on the TrackMan system, so I'm not sure what the velocity is. Here's the 1-1. Lee rockets it to first. Oh, a diving stop by Banks. He will throw it to first. Not in time as the speedy Lee legs out an infield single. Well, the turf monster's eating up everybody today.
Well, that's another one sliding into first there. I don't love that play. It feels like it sets it up too much for injury. Another one that I think if Lee just hustles it out, has a chance to beat that one out. What an impressive play. Again, kind of anticipating the turf hop there. He waits back on it. Late dive, makes the play, and just loses it in transition from the glove.
And he stumbled a little bit trying to get up, too.
But that's a credit to the speed of Lee. He knows how fast he's going to get to the plate, has to hustle to get it into his throwing hand.
Yep. The Wildcats don't steal a ton. Lee, the most stolen base attempts on the team with 5. And now the batter is Jesus Venegas, who singled his first time up, and he rockets one just barely foul outside of third. That had double written all over it, but unfortunately it just hopped the wrong side of the bag. We appreciate your company on the CatEye Network tonight. Michael Cirillo, Bryce Hoynoski bringing you all the action from Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Here's the 0-1 to Venegas after another throwback to first. It's funny because Sanders, if you watch him pick off at first, he doesn't move his feet. He just flicks his arm out there and chucks it over there.
A lot of lefties do that. Again, it kind of blows my mind that anybody tries to lead off on a lefty like that.
Big cut and miss at a breaking ball by Venegas, and the count is 0-2. That's the kind of pitch that Venegas waited on his first time up and just punched into shallow right field for a base hit.
Of course, shout out to the Alcorn State women playing in the SWAC championship game in Atlanta tonight.
Against Southern.
Trailing 51-36 currently with a minute left in the third, so some work to do over there for them. But what a great story that team was out there. Kind of counted out in every game they came into and have just gritted some out.
As we see maybe the slowest pickoff attempt in baseball history. I think Lee could have walked back to first and been fine. That time, Venegas sits on the change, but is still out ahead of it. And if you're used to facing, mid-80s, low 90s in practice every day against your own guys, then somebody's coming in throwing 60s.
Yeah, there's no shot that pitch is 70 plus.
It's hard to adjust. That time it's a fastball, didn't catch the outside corner despite the efforts of Farmer behind the plate to try and frame it up. The count is 1-2.
It's almost one of those things that with how slow that breaking ball is, it makes that fastball feel 10 more miles an hour than it's got on it.
The 1-2. Chop back towards the mound. On to second for one. Back to first. Double play to end the inning again. 1-4-3 double play. The Wildcats get one, but again, an inning-ending double play ends the threat. They'll go to the fourth, down 6-2 here on the CatEye Network. Well, the night for Joel Corey on the mound is done for the Wildcats, and he may have had his worst performance of the season. A real sleeper for Corey on the mound today. He gives up 6 runs on 7 hits across just 3 innings and records 3 strikeouts. Technically 4, but the pitch clock strikeout I don't really credit to him.
That's not what the stats will tell you, Michael.
I don't care. This is sleep deprived, 7 hours on the road, vibes based broadcasting.
Vibes-based broadcasting.
The 9-hole hitter Samuel Leonard steps in, grounded into a double play his first time up in the 2nd inning. And Giancarlos Zambrano from Caracas, Venezuela will be the pitcher. First pitch is strike as he's quickly into his overhead windup. And he grounds one right back to Zambrano. Great play to snag it over his head as he walks it across for out number 1.
Zambrano's had a really great start to this season. First time we saw him, loaded the bases, nobody out, worked his way all the way back, got out of it. But he's been really solid. I mean, very clearly the first guy out of the pen, a guy that probably could start if they needed him to down the line. He's had the ability to go the distance. Probably wanted to have him in the tank tomorrow with a little bit of uncertainty in the status of Edwin Sanchez.
I guess the Wildcats think they can still come back in this contest and need to shut it down right now. Zambrano deals. First pitch ball low to the top of the order, Rayfield Adams. On the season, this is the 6th appearance for Zambrano. Here's the 1-0. Strike called at the knees, 1-1. He's got a 2.63 ERA in 13 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 5 runs on 11 hits, 4 earned, walking 4 and striking out 14. That one's hammered to right field. Moving over Martinez, he leaps up and makes the grab on the move. 2 nice defensive plays for the Wildcats to start the top of the 4th.
Well, a very refreshing start to the inning. Very refreshing start from the way things have gone, where there's been just a little bit too much getting ahead, letting them back in, or getting behind. Just attacking guys, doing what we plead with the Wildcats pitching staff pretty constantly early in the season, which is you've got such a great defense behind you, especially now with Fabo returning to the hot corner. Let them do their work.
Here's Ben Martin, who's 0 for 2, a ground out to third and a strikeout. Fastball, strikeout, side corner. And I love how lively Zambrano's fastball looks. It's got a little bit of a tail to it, down and away to righties. Here's the 0-1. He's got that wicked breaking ball that gets him to ground to third. Fabo on the move, makes the play. He's so good defensively, Jorge Gonzalez Fabo. 1-2-3 for the first time in the ball game go the Braves. And the Wildcats, down 6-2, still have some work to do as we go to the bottom of the 4th, right here on the CatEye Network. Bottom 4 we go here at the Jack. Wildcats down 6-1, but Zambrano got the Braves to go 1-2-3 in the top of the inning. Let's hope that leads to some good things for the Wildcats. They have 2 runs, both on sacrifices. And immediately after those runs have come in, the next batter is grounded into a double play to end the inning. High pop behind the plate. It's going to stay in play, but nobody can find it in the sun. And, well, Jorge Rodriguez gets a second lease on life. Sanders came all the way off the mound, all the way behind home plate. The ball fell behind him. The wind is gusting pretty hard out towards left field. Maybe that took it away from him. Either way, it's just a crazy strike on Rodriguez, and he'll see another one from Sanders. The 0-1. Rodriguez fouls it straight back, and it's 0-2. Rodriguez had that sac fly to score Darrell Lee back in the first inning. That was his first time up. Busy day in the Southwestern Athletic Conference as conference play gets underway this weekend. Here's the 0-2. Outside 1-2 on the fastball. And every series this weekend is an East team against the West team. Here's the 1-2. Way outside 2-2. And it'll be interesting at the end of the weekend to compare the total records and see which conference got the better of the other one. Just looking at the final scores from yesterday, it looks pretty even. The 2-2. Off the end of the bat, grounded towards third. It's a diving stop by the third baseman Gomez, but he can't pick it up off the turf in time, and it's another infield single. Rodriguez leads off with a base knock, and there's one on, nobody out.
You touch on that schedule. It is very much a welcome to the new SWAC baseball. Something we've been pleading for years. Just getting right into it. I do expect, some of the old school individuals in this conference, they'll very much have a conversation about East versus West now that everybody's combined some point during the year.
Breaking ball, strike to Gonzalez-Feba, who grounded into that 6-4-3 double play to end the first. After the Wildcats plated the run. He's got Rodriguez on first and nobody out. Only 2 games tonight in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, as a lot of teams playing doubleheaders either on Friday or tomorrow. Here's the 1-2. Off the end of the bat, sky high to right center field. Caston on the move, makes the catch, and there's one away. And that'll bring up Andre Martinez, who struck out looking his first time up to begin the second inning. Running you through some of the final scores from yesterday. Texas Southern beat Mississippi Valley State 20-7. That is in Ada Bena, that series. As Martinez gets hit on the arm. Nope, he's going to stay there. Called a strike. The umpire says he leaned into it. Well, between that and the strikeout on a pitch clock violation, the home plate umpire's had a lot to do tonight. Grambling State beat Alabama A&M 14-3 in a run rule contest. Florida A&M beat Arkansas Pine Bluff only 7-6 up in Tallahassee. High pop, left field. That's actually quite deep, going back towards the wall. Adios, amigos. Andre Martinez puts it up in a jet stream, and the wind does the rest. And the Wildcats are within touching distance. It's 6-4.
Well, we knew it wouldn't take much, and now you have the added benefit. We'll see how quickly Alcorn decides to get the bullpen up and moving. Of course, maybe they won't with how shallow it may end up being, but it doesn't take a whole lot for this Wildcats team to get back into it. Just one more little rally like that, and you're right back in business, and it's not going to get any easier for Alcorn State out of the pen. And, man, the Wildcats, we talked about it, just continue to put that ball over the wall, something we have not seen from a Hernandez-coached team.
Soufrain off the glove of Banks at first. To be perfectly fair, that's a really tough play for Banks, and the deflection probably saved a potential triple as that one looked destined for the right field corner. A single for Soufrain, and the inning continues. Getting you caught up with a couple of more scores around the SWAC. It was a doubleheader. Oh, no, sorry, only one game on Friday between Jackson State and Prairie View out in Texas, and Prairie View dropped that one 12-0. Jackson State is my early front runner for the SWAC title this year in baseball. They've just looked unbelievable through the first part of the season, although their strength of schedule, I'm getting there. Their strength of schedule is nothing to shake a stick at, but again, that team can flat out hit the ball.
I put zero stock into anything that almost any team in this conference has done to this point, barring a couple of teams that challenge themselves in the non-conference. All those SWAC-on-SWAC things, you can kick rocks. They are useless to me.
Here's Jose Fernandez, struck out his first time up, watches a breaking ball catch the inside corner for strike one. Alabama State and Southern split a twin bill in Baton Rouge. Alabama State won the first game 14-8. Southern won the second game 18-12. How about that for a long day at the ballpark? 14-8 and 18-12 in a doubleheader. And then, of course, the only... Oh, that one fouled off the foot of Jose Fernandez, and he gets up limping. As the count is now 0-2 on the Wildcat designated hitter. The only other game in the SWAC today was Florida A&M and Arkansas Pine Bluff, the second game of that series. Florida A&M wins it 7-4. And then tomorrow, everybody else finishes off their series. Jackson State and Prairie View play a doubleheader. Everybody else plays one game. Still being tended to is Jose Fernandez. He's hopping on one leg, trying to shake it out. Hopefully it's just a big stinger off the ankle, and he'll be able to get right back in that batter's box. He is facing an 0-2 count from Luke Sanders, who, before giving up that home run to Andrew Martinez, looked pretty good. Scattered 3 hits and 2 runs across 3 innings. High pop, right field. This one's going to stay in the yard. Moving over Caston. He makes the catch, 2 away. So single, fly out to right field. 2-run home run, single, fly out to right field. Now with 2 outs and Manny Soufrain on first. Here's Gito Poyeto, who tripled to left field back in the 3rd inning. And another flick over to first. I'm noticing that Soufrain, every time he walks back to first base on a pickoff attempt, he covers the back of his helmet with his hand. Shouldn't that be detrimental? The helmet is supposed to be there for a reason.
Baseball's a funny sport like that, man.
There goes the throw. The pickoff attempt is way wide from Farmer behind the plate, and it's a stolen base for Manny Soufrain. That's a risky call by Coach Hernandez over at third to send one of the slower guys on the team with 2 outs. But it works out. There's a runner in scoring position now. Count is 0-1 on Poyeto.
Yeah, that's about our, one of our half a dozen Manny Soufrain steal attempts we see throughout the course of the season.
The 0-1. Poyeto, high pop behind the plate. This time Farmer is tracking in, and he makes the catch by reaching over his head to end the inning. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 left. The Wildcats back in it, down 6-4 as we go to the 5th here on the CatEye Network. To the 5th inning we go. Wildcats have clawed their way back. They're now down by just 2. And well, in the last inning, Giancarlo Zambrano. I told myself I wouldn't screw that up, but again, it's today. Giancarlo Zambrano got the Braves to go 1-2-3 back in the 4th. The first time the Braves have been sat down in order tonight. And the designated hitter Jermel Ford leads off. Righty to lefty. Ball in the dirt, ball 1. Ford 0 for 2. A strikeout swinging and a strikeout on a pitch clock violation. His 2 plate appearances. Ford chops one foul, 1-1. Zambrano maybe had his best appearance of the season in the 8-7 win over Maryland Eastern Shore 2 weeks ago. Breaking ball stride catches the outside corner 1-2. In that appearance, he went 5 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 5 as the Wildcats hung on to win that one 8-7. The 1-2. Big cut and miss. And Jermel Ford has struck out 3 times tonight, 1 away in the inning.
It just looked so much better with Zambrano tonight, and he hasn't made it easy for Alcorn State to take these pitches. You know, he's come right at guys with a much increased velocity, keeping it high, keeping it in the zone, forcing the swings. Looked well in command.
Here's Gomez. Breaking ball misses inside, ball 1. Gomez hit the 2-run homer in the first and got the party started for Alcorn State as he fouls one off to the left-hand side, 1-1. And then he grounded out in the 3rd. Back to the pitcher. And with the way Nathan Gomez muscled it out opposite field as he watches one, that misses for ball 2. I was surprised when I looked down at the score sheet and saw that was his first home run of the season. Certainly got the look of a guy that will go for double-digit home runs on the year. That one bounced the plate, 3 balls and a strike. The 3-1 to Gomez from Zambrano. Ground ball to short. A diving stop by Venegas. From his knees, the throw. And the scoop by Soufried. Oh, baby, that's getting an exclamation point in the scorebook.
And how good has the BCU infield been? You've had stretches from Soufried. You've had the nice diving play from Venegas. Gonzalez-Fabo has been outstanding over there. This looks more and more like that Coach Hernandez coached infield that we're used to seeing over his tenure here, locking down everything that's hit on the ground.
And now here's Mason Duke. Grounded out to 3rd in the first, singled and scored in the 3rd, singled on the infield. On a slow roller to Venegas at 2nd. That time he hits it high in the air. Right center field and deep. Long run for Martinez. And it's over his head into the wall. Wait, is that a home run? It's a home run! What? Trotting around the bases is Duke. I thought for sure that hit the ground. And now the Wildcats are coming in like Martinez caught the ball. What is happening?
I think he caught the ball, Mike.
Okay.
I'm with you. I mean, it's hard for us to see from this angle here. Took the tumble after. So we're going to call that a catch, and what a catch it was. I mean,
all right, we're going to call that F9 with 2 exclamation points because I 100% thought that was a ground rule double.
I mean,
Wow.
lunged into his opposite hand, going up for it, taking the tumble after, laying his body on the line, throwing his momentum with the grab. That was unbelievable catch.
That's one of the ones where I kind of wish we had our full CatEye crew here so we can get a little bit of a zoom in on the camera angle on that one because that was unbelievable. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th, 6-4 Alcorn here on the CatEye Network. Daniel Figueroa leads off for the Wildcats. 9-hole hitter leading it off here in the 5th. Wildcats down 6-4, trying to reward some of the terrific defense that they played in the field over the last 6 outs. First pitch, a strike from Sanders. Sanders, the lefty, into his windup. Breaking ball, a strike, and it's 0-2 to Figueroa, who grounded out to short his first time up, was credited with an RBI after Gito Poyeto came home after tripling to start the 3rd. And ahead in the count, 0-2. The pitch from Sanders, and away upstairs and high, 1-2. Sanders last year at Savannah State was mostly used out of the pen. Only 1 win credited, a 1-0 record, the 1-2. Outside and low, 2-2. An ERA of 4.34. 29 innings pitched for Sanders last year with the Savannah State Tigers, of where he spent the first 3 years of his college career. Figueroa, goes down and chops that foul to stay alive at 2-2. Nobody warming up in the Alcorn State bullpen. They are trusting their man, and why wouldn't they? I mean, in the win against Alabama A&M, in his only start of the year last Saturday, he threw 130 pitches in 7 innings.
When you have a guy that doesn't throw with a ton of velocity, certainly gives you a little bit of flexibility there. We talked about it a little bit over the break. That's kind of what you see from some of these lower-end pitching SWAC teams. It's just these horses at the top.
Strike 3. And I'm going to say right now I disagree with the call. Daniel Figueroa watches it in the outside corner and low. And there's 1 away for the Wildcats. The 2nd strikeout looking, and the 3rd overall for Sanders on the night. Back to the top of the order, here's Darrell Lee. He's reached base twice, hit by a pitch in the 1st and scored. Single in the 3rd was part of a double play, and he got hit on the rear end, putting it politely. And there's 1 aboard with 1 out, his 2nd hit by pitch of the game. And that's the 2nd time he's been hit by pitch on the first pitch of the at-bat.
Well, with the way he swung the bat last weekend, maybe that's by design, not giving him a chance to do anything. Had the grand slam last week at Florida Gulf Coast in that Friday night win.
Here's Venegas. Put the ball in play twice, a single and grounded into a double play in his 2 plate appearances. He's come up every time with Leon first. First pitch, punched into center field. There's a base hit. A carbon copy of his base hit in the 1st inning. Just went with the slow curve ball inside and just tapped it. Darrell Lee's going to try to go to 2nd. He's in there. I'm guessing that's going to be a single and an advance.
Yep.
And now there's 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Good heads-up base running by Darrell Lee right there.
Well, we're continuing to see the longer this one's going on. We know that Sanders, again, the way that he throws, the pace which he throws, pitching style, he's a guy that can give you some distance, but you see how hesitant Alcorn State is to go to that bullpen. They are going to ride this until the wheels fall off and maybe further. Nobody up in the bullpen. Wildcats can tie it up with 1 swing and crickets down there.
Sorry, that was Venegas with the heads-up base running to head to 2nd on the throw-in from center field. First pitch, a big old cut and miss around the breaking ball by Jorge Rodriguez. Rodriguez hit a sac fly to center his first time up, and then singled and scored in the 4th. He was the leadoff man in that inning. He's got 2nd and 3rd, 1 out with the Wildcats down by 2. And that one is inside. Did it hit him? No, and the ball doesn't go away far enough from the plate for Darrell Lee to scamper home. I mean, Lee is one of those guys that you would trust to come home on a play like that if he saw it necessary. And you talked about it, Bryce. Runner on 3rd. That backstop looms large behind some of these SWAC catchers. The 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Jorge Gonzalez-Febo awaits on deck. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a double play and a long fly out to right. The 2-ball, 1-strike count from Sanders. High pop behind home plate. That will make the roof. Cue roof. And it's 2-2. And now if you're Rodriguez, you don't have to do anything extravagant here with only one out. Putting the ball in play and not grounding into a double play will be enough. The 2-2. He does put the ball in play. Into left center field. That is going to be down into the wall. 1 run will score. That's Lee. Venegas scores from second. Replacing him is Rodriguez. And we've got a tie ball game. A 2 RBI double to the left center field power alley for Jorge Rodriguez. And we're tied at 6. Well, how about that? This is SWAC basketball. Baseball. My goodness.
Can't get it out, huh? Yeah, we're jumping right into it this weekend. I mean, these are the kind of games we've seen in the tournament, seen later into the SWAC season against really everybody. And again, still no bullpen relief coming.
Inside ball gets away, and actually it hit Jorge Gonzalez-Febo, so he doesn't even get to bat. He goes to first, so it'll be first and second, 1 out. And now it's kind of looking like my sheet is looking like it did against UMES 2 weeks ago.
Well, we truly hope it does not get that bad. I don't anticipate it will, but finally Alcorn State sending an arm down to the bullpen.
They only threw 2 last night, 4 2/3 from Jamel Ford, and an inning and a third from Hayden Conkler.
But again, what does it show you about the confidence they have in that pen that nobody is up?
Ground ball to second could be 2. A throw to second for 1. Back to first. There is no throw to first. Actually, they go to third, and diving back in is Jorge Rodriguez. Well, there's been some heads-up base running all around from the Wildcats in this inning. So getting a force out is Fabo. He's out 4-6. Rodriguez goes to third. It's a fielder's choice for Andrew Martinez. He's aboard. Things are happening so thick and fast I can hardly keep up on the scorecard.
Now batting number 16, the first baseman.
So now it's Soufrain with runners on the corners and 2 down. Martinez at first after the fielder's choice. Rodriguez at third. And Sanders deals. Breaking ball, strike, caught the outside corner. And they'll get a stolen base as Henry Martinez walks to second. I was wondering when we'd see that. The good old trick steal, go and stand in the middle of the base paths with a guy on third, see if you can sneak one home. Alcorn doesn't bite that time. It's second and third with 2 outs for Soufrain. Sanders steps off the mound, nobody out there. But yeah, I mean, in a game you gave up 15 runs last night, you only went to the bullpen for an inning and a third. The 0-1 to Soufrain. Big cut and miss. Man, he's hunting the fences there, and he's down 0-2. Soufrain in the game popped out a towering pop out to center field and then singled off the glove of the first baseman and was stranded back in the 4th. Wildcats have plated 2 in the inning and tied at 6, and they're threatening with second and third 2 outs. Way upstairs and out, trying to get a swing from Soufrain, and it's 1-2. These are the kind of situations where Manny Soufrain, as a senior in this order, Bryce, wants to be up in.
Feels like one of those guys that tends to come up more often than others in these kind of situations.
1-2, hit in the air to center field. Coming on is Adams. He can't make the play. It bounces over his head. 2 runs will score. It's a double for Soufrain, and the Wildcats have an 8-6 lead with 4 in the frame. My goodness. Rodriguez comes in from third, Martinez in from second. And it's going to be the 8th batter of the inning, and we're finally going to have a mound visit, not from the pitching coach or the head coach, but from the catcher. And here trots out head coach Carlton Hardy, and I think that might be the end from Sanders.
Well, if it is, the reliever in the pen has been warming up for all of
5 seconds,
2
it feels
minutes.
like, yeah.
But again, that just shows you how shallow they are down there. If you are trusting a guy who is a good start to the game for Sanders. He had the Wildcats off balance. Definitely a different look than they're used to seeing early on in the season. Definitely bringing that kind of SWAC profile to us for the first time on the year. So I had the Wildcats a bit off balance, but he's very clearly reached the end of the line, or maybe rather the Wildcats have kind of figured it out a little bit and made the necessary adjustments. But they have not one person that they feel comfortable to go to in that bullpen, to the point that it took 8 runs just to get somebody up.
And they're not even going to change. I'm guessing this mound visit was just to give some more time for the guy out there to warm up. So with 2 outs, and now Soufrain on second, and 4 already in the inning for the Wildcats to take an 8-6 lead. The batter is Jose Fernandez, who struck out in the second, flew out to right in the fourth after careening a foul ball off his ankle. Probably still feeling the effects of that one an inning later. That's one where, you're kind of glad you're the DH, so you don't have to go play the field after whacking yourself with a ball like that. And there's a ball, 1 strike. Once again, the only other score in the SWAC so far today is Florida A&M beating Arkansas Pine Bluff 7-4. That one golfed down the left field line. That's going to drop and head to the corner off the bat of Fernandez. Soufrain's going to score. Fernandez going to slide into second to replace him. 5 runs in the inning for the Wildcats.
Well, even with a starting pitching performance that was less than stellar, you can get away with it against a team like Alcorn State that just has kind of had the wheels fall off a little bit. We're finally going to get a call to the bullpen. Sanders gave them everything he could, but it was only a matter of time. Again, I really think for the Wildcats tonight, it was just an example of getting a different look, a step down in velocity, and a little more old-school approach on the mound that they just haven't seen a ton of, playing a lot of high major or good mid-major competition early in the season. They made the necessary adjustments, and they chased him.
So that'll be the end for Sanders. I'll come to Bryce for a line in a second, but we will meet the new pitcher for Alcorn State. It is the redshirt sophomore from Sarasota, Florida, the transfer from Three Rivers Community College, Hunter Bell. Bell on the season, a .924 ERA. Making his 7th appearance tonight, 12 2/3 innings pitched so far, giving up 14 runs on 17 hits, 13 earned, walking 13 and striking out 7. He's allowed 5 doubles, no triples, 2 homers. Again, his strikeout to walk ratio, 7 strikeouts, 13 walks, his ERA .924. And well, just by those numbers, you can kind of see why Alcorn State was hesitant to go out of the pen. Let's get a recap on Sanders' starter numbers.
Well, responsible for the runner on second, Sanders goes 4 2/3, allows 9 runs, all of them earned, 10 hits, 3 strikeouts, hit 3 batters. Didn't walk anybody, but the amount of hits, the amount of contact that was made, really all fell apart last couple of innings.
I think Darrell Lee kind of feels victimized because 2 of those 3 hit batters for him.
It's very true. Again, I just think, I really do think, different look, completely different guy than you've seen early on in the year. Took a couple of innings, wasn't the prettiest in the world. The Wildcats managed to stay back, especially on the off-speed stuff that if you can't locate it perfectly, if you can't use deception, mix it up with the hard, and I say hard, you're probably looking at more low 70s at best with the hard stuff. Mix it well. If you can't do that, well, it's only a matter of time before a team like this, with some of the caliber of bats that they have, tracks it, catches up to it, manages to put a hurting on.
Hunter Bell, last year as a freshman at Three Rivers Community College in Missouri. 8 appearances with 2 starts, his record 2-2. Had a .924 ERA with 12 strikeouts for the Raiders of Three Rivers Community College. And now with Alcorn State. And he's staring down Jeter Poyeto, who wants to get in on some of this RBI action. That is a funky delivery by Bell. The first pitch is low, ball 1.
And again, wouldn't shock me if it takes a minute for the Wildcats to adjust. A little bit of a different look than what you're used to seeing early on in the season.
Bell, the righty, looks the runner back to second, comes home with it. That one's smashed, and it's going to be a foul ball that lands just outside of the line. Fernandez ran all the way home from second as that had the makings of a potential triple as that ball rattled around in the corner. But it is not to be as the home plate umpire, Kevin Boltron, called that one foul over the third base bag.
Well, you mentioned Bell's delivery. It's kind of starts out, it looks like it's going to be a true sidearm kind of delivery, but then he kind of brings the forearm over the top. It's very, very strange, very different.
The 1-1 with 2 outs. This is the 9th batter of the inning for the Wildcats. Comes with the fastball, misses it upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Poyedo tripled to the left field corner back in the third and scored off of a Figueroa sacrifice. The 2-1. Off the end of the bat towards second. On a knee, here's Martin, makes the throw off a double clutch to end the inning. The Wildcats send 9 to the plate. They score 5 runs on 5 hits. Sorry, 4 hits. 5 runs, 4 hits, and 1 left. And we go to the 6th. Well, the Wildcats have come all the way back. They lead it 9-6 here on the CatEye Network. Well, Giancarlo Zambrano came in to replace the struggling Joel Corey in the 4th, and all he's done with the help of some spectacular defense is retire 6 Braves in order. In that time, the Wildcats have played in 7 runs, and they lead it 9-6 as we go to the 6th inning. And Caleb Banks stares down Zambrano. Breaking ball misses low and outside, 1-0. And I will bring the opposite of what we said in the last inning, Bryce. I mean, this game is never over because you know how good the Alcorn State bats can be.
Especially how good they've been tonight. Plate discipline is getting good. If they can force Zambrano to throw some more pitches, they could get back in this game.
Now, and Zambrano, with as good as his stuff looks at peak, he can sometimes do that. A little bit more times than we'd like.
Yeah, we've seen him get himself into plenty of jams. Luckily for him, he's got the stuff to get out of them, too.
High pop, shallow left, camping under it, and he lost it in the lights. Nobody knows where the ball is. The runner, Banks, is still going. He's going to come all the way home. Nobody knows where the ball is.
I certainly don't.
He goes all the way around the bases.
Was it all?
The ball got lost in the lights. The umpires are going to convene here. Right now, it's a home run. The ball's not on the field of play. Did it actually leave the yard?
That is one of the strangest things I have, because I didn't see it go foul. I didn't see it go over the wall. I mean, we're at the point in the day where it's pretty easy.
I didn't see it go anywhere.
It's pretty easy to track the ball because the darkness that's starting to drift over everybody makes it quite the contrast when you see the white ball, and I don't know how you overturn this, because we did get the home run signal.
Now the third base umpire is going to talk to Coach Hardy out at third base. I mean, they may just give him a ground rule double because of the lack of anything better to do.
Definitely feels like the safe choice, but it definitely did not hit turf. Somebody would have seen it. I will, having driven 7 hours today, I will allow for the possibility that we missed it, but there's no way that everybody else missed it.
And they're going to call it a foul ball.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to have to bring Callum Banks back to the plate.
That is,
wow.
That is unbelievable.
Chalk that one up to there. I haven't seen that one before. You get one every game, at least. That is one of the strangest things I've seen on a baseball diamond in quite a long time. So Callum Banks, after going all the way around the bases on a ball that just straight up disappeared, pulled a Houdini act, is now back in the batter's box. He's now ahead in the count 3-1.
I mean, that'll have you doubting yourself out here a little bit. I mean, I have no idea what happened to that baseball.
Strike called inside corner. Banks thought that was ball 4, and the count runs full 3-2. I mean, if Banks doesn't get on base here, he's going to feel the most hard-done person in the world. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball swerves outside, and he eventually does take a walk. Well, that's the first base runner that Zambrano has allowed, and I kind of want to say a walk is good for the Wildcats in that situation. Maybe.
It certainly beats the alternative, but again, I'm with you. I almost am happy that he was rewarded with the walk. Feels like he deserves it after that.
Well, the batter is now Jeremiah Farmer, the catcher. First pitch, swing and a miss on the fastball. That'll go down in my brain as one of the strangest things I've ever seen on a baseball field. There's the 0-1. We've got to move on. Fastball, strike outside corner. And now let's see what Zambrano does with a runner on base. The Wildcats have typically struggled on the mound with runners on base.
Pace tends to take a step back, which is pretty critical for the way the Wildcats operate on the mound.
Zambrano deals, breaking ball, waved at, he went around, and that's a strikeout. I think Giancarlo Zambrano's slider to righties, maybe the best pitch that anybody in the Wildcat clubhouse has in their arsenal.
Certainly on the short list.
It just swerves so much. Second strikeout for Zambrano after coming on in place of Corey. 1 out, 1 on, pitch. Fastball strike to Gavin Caston. Caston 1 for 2, a single to left in the second, and he was caught in the middle of a double play in the second as well. And then he struck out in the third. That was the third and final strikeout delivered by Joel Corey. Pitch off the end of the bat, foul, first base side 0-2. Wildcats up 9-6 here after a big rally. Zambrano gets Gaston to pop it up on the infield. Who's going to call for it? It's Sufrain all the way from first behind the mound, makes the catch. And there's 2 away. Sometimes keeping score by hand is a bit funny because I like to go back and look at games I've done. This inning will read walk, strikeout, pop up to first base.
Doesn't tell the whole story.
Does not at all tell the whole story.
Doesn't tell the whole story. That's kind of a microcosm of the game of baseball, I think.
Fastball strike to Leonard. Every batter in this inning has seen that first pitch fastball strike at the knees from Zambrano.
Well, I love it. Attacking early. It's a pretty simple formula. Fire one in there for a strike. See what happens.
Zambrano's breaking pitch is just about fouled off by Leonard at 0-2. Leonard grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the second and then tapped it right back to Zambrano in the fourth. It was the first batter Zambrano faced after coming on in relief. As the Braves begin their second time through the order, breaking ball. Here's the throw down to second. It goes into center field. So a stolen base for Callum Banks. Puts a runner on second with 2 down, and the count is a ball and 2 strikes to Samuel Leonard. Leonard, the sophomore out of Holtzville, New York, and Sachem High School. Zambrano, a chance to get out of a really wacky inning unscathed here. A ball and 2 strikes to Leonard. Here's the pitch. Got him on the breaking ball. Strike 3 swinging, and that's the end of the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 9-6 Wildcats here on the CatEye Network. Daniel Figueroa leads off for the Wildcats as we hit the bottom of the 6th. 9-6 Cats. After getting 5 in the 5th and 2 in the 4th to rally against Alcorn State, who at one time led this ball game 6-1. First pitch, squaring to bunt and taking a strike, is Daniel Figueroa. Figueroa is 0 for 2 tonight at an RBI ground out in the 3rd, scoring Jeter Poyedo, and then struck out looking in the 5th. Second batter to face Bell, the new pitcher for Alcorn State. Hunter Bell came in after the 5 runs were already scored in the inning, replacing the starter Sanders for Alcorn State. Here's the 1-1. Towards short. Nice pick by Leonard, and there's 1 away. Finally, a simple baseball play after it feels like a couple innings of nothing but craziness.
We have missed those. We certainly have.
Now batting the left fielder, number 1.
But again,
Lee.
no reason for the Wildcats to, stop with the good ABs here, because after Zambrano, banged up bullpen, still don't know what you're going to get.
Ball 1 to Darrell Lee, who's been hit by 2 pitches and singled on the infield in the game.
The first pitch he hasn't been hit by tonight, right? Both were 1-pitch hit by pitches?
Well, here's a hit by pitch on the first pitch, then a single in the 3rd, then a hit by pitch on the first pitch in the 5th. But he'll see a 3rd pitch of an at-bat for the first time tonight, as he's ahead in the count 2-0. And he watches one inside corner, strike 2-1. The 2-1, whoa, look out. That one was destined for the backstop, and Farmer stretched it out to make the catch. 3 balls and a strike to Darrell Lee. Lot happening in downtown Daytona Beach tonight. High pop-up behind shortstop. That's going back towards the track, and making the catch but losing his hat is Duke. That wind is really blowing hard out towards left. I mean, Andre Martinez had the home run that I thought was a shallow pop-up. I thought that one wasn't going to leave the infield, and it went all the way towards the track, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, shoot, it was blowing upwards of 20 miles an hour when we first got to the park. It feels like it's calmed down a little bit, but it hasn't been gusty. It's been constant all day. Probably the windiest, at least as far as constant wind we've had thus far this season.
Now 2 outs in the inning. First pitch, a strike on the outside corner to Jesus Venegas, who singled in the first, was caught in a double play, and singled in the 5th and came around to score. Chopper foul outside of third, and Venegas fouled it off his foot, and it's 0-2. Not a bad crowd out here for a Saturday night. Of course, attendance is free at the Jack all season long for Wildcat baseball games. So if you're in the area, come on down.
No excuse not to catch a game or two out here this spring.
It's a perfect night for baseball. 69 degrees, partly cloudy, just a little breath of wind blowing out towards left field. Venegas down 0-2. Watches one in on the hands, almost hit him. The count is 1-2. Wildcats trying to stay in this inning after plating 5 in the last frame. They've in danger of going 1-2-3 here. And that's a nice base hit up the middle for Jesus Venegas. He continues his hot night. He's now 3 for 4, Venegas. Venegas is one of those guys, along with Jeter Poyeto, who came in, and Armani Newton, who's not in the lineup tonight, came in with a lot of hype behind them, and except for Newton, really kind of underperformed through the first month of the season, but have really turned it on over the last 2 or so weeks.
I definitely see the adjustment period kind of come to an end. Guys are finding their footing. Even goes for some of the veterans here. You know, Manny Sufrain started slow, has kind of found his form a little bit. Even Tanner Bocabella, if you want to extend it to the pitching side, has started off slow in the first couple of outings and has kind of rounded back in.
Off the end of the bat towards right center field, towards the alley. That's going to get down and head to the wall. Off the bat of Jorge Rodriguez. All the way in from first. And scoring, standing up, is Jesus Venegas. The Wildcats have played at double digits for the second time in 2 games this series. And it's 10-6. What a hit by Rodriguez. That one sailed into the Daytona night.
And, you know, it starts and ends with consistently good ABs. And, you know, Venegas pitched before, gets down early and still manages to take one nice and easy and get on base. And he's rewarded just one batter later. Everybody in the Wildcats clicking tonight. He's been able to put the bat on the ball. Contact has turned from the foul balls early into a lot of stuff in play, and Alcorn just really hasn't had an answer.
Now here's someone who needs a good plate appearance, Jorge Gonzalez-Febo. I'm sorry, did we just get an exaggerated safe call when they threw over to a base where nobody was?
I don't know. I missed it. I was looking down on my computer.
They threw to third. Nobody was there. The home plate umpire goes safe very dramatically. Oh, my goodness. Well, Febo, his last 2 pitches he's faced, he's been hit both times. And he's on with 2 outs. Febo tonight grounded into a double play at the end of the first inning, then flew out to deep right field, then was hit by a pitch first pitch, and was hit by a pitch first pitch.
Sometimes you just have one of those nights.
He's got Darrell Lee syndrome.
Some guys are just magnets. Some of those weird things about baseballs. Some guys just find ways to get hit by pitches.
Here's Andrew Martinez, who had the home run back in the 4th. Fastball outside and low, ball 1. The Wildcats have made this mini rally with 2 outs. Figueroa grounded out to short. Lee flied out to left. And then single, double hit by pitch. First and second, 2 out, 1 already in the inning. That one's fouled away off the end of the bat, first base side, and that will make the Turtles' nest. Count 1-1. Martinez on the night struck out in the second, hit the 2-run home run of the 4th, and then reached on a fielder's choice and scored on an RBI double by Manny Sufrain back in the 5th. The 1-1. Caught a piece of it. Dribbled it foul at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wildcats try to creep up back towards 500, 8-10 on the year. A 1-2 to Martinez. Swing and a miss. Blew the fastball up and away right by him, and that's the end of the inning. But 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 left. And we go to the 7th inning of play. The Wildcats have extended the lead 10-6 here on the CatEye Network. To the 7th we go. Giancarlo Zambrano has allowed only one base runner through 3 innings of work. As he'll face the top of the order, Rayfield Adams stands in for Alcorn State. Adams tonight singled to shallow right in the first and came around to score on the 2-run homer by Nathan Gomez. Then walked in the second, was stranded on first, and flied out to right in the fourth. We'll be back with the finale of this 3-game set tomorrow at 1 p.m. The 1-0. There's a strike outside corner, 1-1. Bryce, do you know if the game has been potentially moved up due to weather tomorrow?
Nothing official to this point.
1-1. In the dirt, 2-1.
But we will know right after the game. It tends to be when those decisions are made.
If you are in the area and are thinking about coming out, keep an eye on the BCU Diamond Cats socials because we may move that up. We know there's some weather moving in supposedly tomorrow night.
Feels like every game on Sunday thus far this season has been bumped up to noon. So I would definitely stay tuned for that.
Breaking ball strike, caught the outside corner, 2-2. Two-two. Breaking ball, didn't catch the zone, missed up high, and the count goes full. Tomorrow night, a big day across the SWAC as all of the conference series finish up. The full count delivery to Adams from Zambrano is fouled away. We'll do it again. Alabama A&M hosting Grambling State. Florida A&M hosting Arkansas Pine Bluff. Of course, Bethune-Cookman hosting Alcorn. Doubleheader in Texas between Prairie View A&M and Jackson State. And Alabama A&M hosting Grambling State also in a doubleheader. And then the final game of the series between Southern and Alabama State. That Southern and Alabama State series may be the most interesting east to west crossover matchup of the weekend. That one's flared in a shallow center. Moving over from short to make the catch is Poyeto, and there's one away. Ten of 11 retired by Zambrano since he came on in relief of Corey. And the batter will be Ben Martin.
Number 7, Ben Martin.
Ben Martin 0 for 3, 2 groundouts to third and a strikeout tonight. Fastball called outside corner, strike 1. The 0-1 in the dirt. So the Wildcats next weekend will get maybe their sternest test of the regular season as they go for a 3-game set at Jackson State next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Long hold by Zambrano. Here's the 1-1. Off the end of the bat, sky high to center field. Moving to his right, Figueroa tracking it into the glove for out number 2. And really, I think that weekend series, yes, it's important for the Wildcats, but I think it's more important for Jackson State to kind of see where they are.
Well, certainly true. I don't discount, I'm talking to Coach Hernandez pregame, between that and the Southern Series to follow it. It's very much the style of team that has given the Wildcats a lot of trouble in the postseason.
First pitch strike on the outside corner to Jermel Ford, who's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts tonight. 2 of them swinging, 1 of them on a pitch clock violation. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball up the middle. Fielding is Poyeto behind the bag at second. What a play to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Braves. The Wildcats will try to add to a 10-6 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th here on the CatEye Network. Manny Soufrain leads off the 7th for the Wildcats, who have come from 6-1 down to lead 10-6 behind the tremendous defense and relief pitching appearance from Giancarlo Zambrano, and of course, the tremendous hitting of the middle of the order. First pitch to Soufrain inside. Soufrain today flew out to center. Pitch. Fouled straight back, 1-1. After that, Soufrain singled off the glove of the first baseman, then stole second, was stranded there in the 4th, and then doubled RBI style Andrew Martinez in the 5th, scored himself on the double by Jose Fernandez. Soufrain now out of the batter's box, adjusting his glove. So Bryce, we've been talking about it a little bit all night. Let's finally break open the crate of worms. And we were up at the SWAC basketball championships this past weekend. The Wildcat women got bounced in the first round by Prairie View A&M. The men, for the second straight year, made the semifinals and lost out to Jackson State. And it kind of felt the exact same as it did last year, where you got over a big hump in the semifinals of a team that had usually beat you, and then it felt like you used all your energy in the quarters, and then you got to the semis and got blown out.
Well, again, we've been talking about a lot the course of the year. With as many minutes, as much has been on the tread of a lot of those top Wildcat players, Trey Thomas, Daniel Ruzan, Jesus Carolero-Martin, that it felt like it was only a matter of time for the wheels fell off. And it took a Jackson State team with some really great players in Shannon Grant, Deshaun Ruffin, that really exposed a lot of what was incomplete about this roster. Mostly the size in the middle. I mean, Shannon Grant and Mansell as well gave them a lot of trouble down low.
So Manny Soufrain is not going to continue. The trainer was looking at his hand, and that would be tough. Hopefully this is just precaution for Soufrain. He's going to be replaced in the middle of an at-bat by Irvin Escobar, and Escobar will probably play first. So Escobar stands in with a 1-1 count, and he drives one to right center field in the air. That one's going to hang up for Adams, who makes the catch, and there's one away.
Well, to continue our SWAC point, it just felt like it's one of those areas that Coach Theus hasn't necessarily recruited a ton of in terms of traditional size in the middle. He likes his athletic, kind of wings playing those center positions. They got picked apart inside a little bit. I think overall just kind of legs ran out of steam.
Whoa, a bouncer to the plate. First pitch to Jose Fernandez. Fernandez tonight struck out swinging in the 2nd, flied out to right in the 4th, and then had an RBI double in the 5th. He ended up being stranded there at the end of the inning. Chopper towards 3rd. Charging is Gamez. He throws across to beat Fernandez by half a step, and there's 2 away in the inning.
Men's basketball has a lot to be proud of this season. We've really concerns in the non-conference. Turned out to be a pretty good team. I mean, you tie in the record for conference wins in a season for the program. 2 guys named to the All-SWAC team. I mean, a collection of guys that never always felt like they would gel together, managed to come together pretty well at the end of the year.
Here's Gina Poyeto, watches one upstairs at the Letters Ball 1. Yeah, and I remember back in November, us talking behind the scenes after watching some practices and watching some scrimmages and going, this team's got no shot. Poyeto fouls one off, 1-1. And then to see where they were at the end of the year, a tremendous credit to Coach Theus and his staff for putting together a run in the middle of the season where the Wildcats seemed like they could beat anybody.
Yep.
And it just, again, the wheels kind of fell off towards the end. A lot of tired legs out there. But again, this is a men's basketball program for the 2nd straight year. Here's the 1-1, outside 2-1. We'll lose upwards of 10 guys to the portal or to graduation or what have you. And it's going to have to be another big rebuilding year for Coach Theus.
But you can't deny, I mean, made progress every single year.
2-1, big cut and miss on the changeup. And Poyeto's count evens up at 2. Trying to avoid going 1-2-3 here in the 7th. Still trying to extend that 10-6 lead here over Alcorn State. Hunter Bell deals, misses outside, count runs full. The ball rolls to the backstop for good measure. Women's basketball definitely in a bit of a trickier spot. You got the 7th seed. It's the highest seed you've gotten in the tournament since you've been in the SWAC, but you got bounced by Prairie View. 3-2. That's a line drive off the glove of Gamez at third and into shallow left field. Poyeto's going to try and head to second. Here comes the throw. Poyeto is safe as he keeps that right foot planted on the bag. And that'll be a double to keep the inning alive.
We said it. What a turnaround it's been for Poyeto, or rather, what a way to settle in. It looked like it was a little too much for him coming out of the gate, maybe trying to do too much, maybe just not quite used to the step up in playing time, but man, he has settled in very nicely and looking all the much like a kid that's transferring in from a Power 4 program.
Yep, Wake Forest transfer for the former Miami Christian School athlete down in South Florida. And we got more changes. Batting in the 9th spot for Daniel Figueroa, it's going to be Mikey Rodriguez. With Poyeto on second and nobody out, the pitch. Chop towards short. Backhanding is Leonard. Throw across the diamond. Barely got Rodriguez, who almost legged down an infield single. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Sorry, we go to the top of the 8th. My apologies. It is 10-6 Wildcats here on the CatEye Network. Nathan Gamez, who had the loudest moment of the game for Alcorn State with that 2-run home run to deep left center back in the first inning, will lead off the 8th. And he swings and misses at a breaking ball from Giancarlo Zambrano. Outside of that, Gamez has grounded out to the pitcher and grounded out to second, and he watches a strike in there 0-2. Zambrano looking for his 4th strikeout of this appearance. Won't get it that time. Heads up dugout as that one rockets into the BCU bench. Count holds 0-2 on Gamez. And Zambrano deals. Fouled off again. Shout out to softball, by the way. They took 2 out of 3 from Florida A&M over the weekend series.
Yep, after the got knocked around a little bit on night 1, came back and swept the doubleheader today.
So now they're, 3-3 in conference after 6 games?
Yep. Well, actually 3-2 because the last game of the Jackson State was
unfinished due to weather, yeah.
Which is a whole other issue because they were in the 7th inning when that one was somehow postponed rather than called, which makes no sense.
The 1-2, breaking ball misses in the opposite batter's box from the lefty Gamez, and we'll do a 2-2 now. Zambrano trying to not let Gomez slip away from him after being up quickly 0-2 in the count. Fouled away again. Third foul of this at-bat. What's Zambrano's pitch count up to now? He's got to be
50 right there.
He's got to be approaching his most of the season. His most of the season is 70 against Stony Brook on the opening weekend. Breaking ball, caught him! Punched him out! 12-6 curve at the knees. One away in the inning. 51 pitches in, and he's still throwing stuff like that.
Yeah, and for him to be able to put together the length at this sort of consistency, they love the weapon they have at him out of the bullpen, but do not be surprised if this is a guy that can work his way to the rotation if injuries happen or if guys can't quite find their footing later into the season. I mean, he's shown he's got the ability to go deep.
I don't know if you'd throw him maybe into a midweek role. First pitch, that's a line drive base hit to left field from Mason Duke. Duke's had a pretty good night. He's now 2 for 4, singled and scored in the third on an infield single. Grounded out to third in the first, then flew out to right field in the fifth on an amazing play by Andrew Martinez, one of the best diving catches you'll see all season. We thought he missed it. It was so amazing. And I gave him the rare double exclamation point in my scoreboard for that. Breaking ball, hammered towards left field. That's going to hold up in the wind. Making the catch is Michael Rodriguez, who's now in left field. Darrell Lee has gone from left to center. Figueroa is out. And also at first base is Irvin Escobar in for the injured Manny Sufrain.
Looks like we got a pinch hitter coming up.
So that was Banks who flew out to left. And batting for Jeremiah Farmer.
No, it looks like he's still. That's my fault.
No, it is Jeremiah Farmer.
Thought I saw.
Don't scare me like that. It's been too long of a day. We were up at like 6 a.m.
Thought I saw somebody trade bats. Hey, listen, I got a reason to be a little bit out of it today.
After a check over at first, they'll come home to Farmer, who's 2 for 3 on the night. First pitch is a fastball upstairs, ball 1. Farmer hit a ground rule double in the second, came around to score on the single by Gavin Caston. Zambrano's 1-0. Fastball strike at the knees. Whips that in there 1-1. Then in the third, Farmer singled to shallow right, which ended up stranded there on the Caston strikeout. And then popped up in the infield, which was eventually caught by Manny Sufrain back in the 6th. 1 on, 2 out here in the 8th for Alcorn State. They led at 1.6-1 in this game, but the last 9 runs have been scored by the Wildcats. Big cut and miss as the count is 1-2 on Farmer. It is worth mentioning that the only time he's faced Zambrano was that 6th inning where Farmer struck out. The 2 hits were against Joel Corey, who didn't have that great of a start. Gave up all 6 of the Alcorn runs. Fight 3, throw down to second, throw him out, double play. Well, it doesn't matter because that's the end of the inning anyway. Well, it would have been cool.
It certainly would have.
They don't get the double play, but they do get out of the inning on the reverse K. 2 strikeouts, and Zambrano works around a single. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Wildcats looking to extend a 10-6 advantage right here on the CatEye Network. Top of the order for the Wildcats as we go to the bottom of the 8th, 10-6. Bethune-Cookman looking for the series win in the opening SWAC series of the year against Alcorn State.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 1, Daryl Lee.
Hunter Bell still on the hill for Alcorn, almost hits Lee again. Lee's been hit twice tonight, both on first pitches, and that one missed him by a couple of inches. The count is 1-0. Skied foul, that'll make the river to the left-hand side. Certainly got more of a challenge from Alcorn State tonight than we did last night in the 15-4 run rule win. Although, here's the 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Alcorn did strike first last night as well in the first inning with a double, a bunt, and a sac fly. And then from there, it was all Wildcats. The 2-1. Lee doesn't offer at it to strike, 2-2.
And Southern claims the SWAC Women's Basketball Championship this year. Regular season champions finishing it off. They beat Alcorn, apologies any Braves fans, 64-44 tonight. Men's game comes up in about 12 minutes.
I thought it was at 9:30, not 8:30.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So it's an
right.
hour and 10 minutes, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, we could have. Just think, we could have been up there right now prepping for that one.
Oh, yeah. The 3-2. Inside almost hit him, and Lee will take his base. So 3 free passes for Daryl Lee tonight. He doesn't have much of a chance to swing the bat.
And that's kind of the series that it's been.
Number 12,
And really going back to UMES, same kind of series. Kind of figured we were getting that in again as Alcorn has still really shown no propensity to go to the bullpen at this point.
Here's Jesus Venegas. Put the ball in play all 4 times. 3 singles and hit into a double play in the 3rd. Singled in the 1st. Singled and scored in the 5th. Fouls one off, 0-1. Singled and scored in the 6th. And that 5-run rally in the 5th inning that gave the Wildcats the lead was all with 2 outs, by the way. The first 2 batters of that inning were, it was ground out strikeout, and everything else was with 2 outs. The 0-1 popped sky high behind first base. That'll be playable. The second baseman, Martin, makes the catch. And there's 1 away. I've been fighting the urge to call him Martine all night.
We're purging the last of basketball season from our brains as we drift into bat and ball season.
It's going to be nice not to have a million different things to worry about every week.
It's going to be nice to go to sleep. Is what it's going to be nice to do.
That's also fair. Here's Jorge Rodriguez with 1 away and 1 on. Runner goes. Here's the throw down to second. The throw is way offline. That's a stolen base for Lee. Second steal of the day for the Wildcats. Manny Soufrain had one back in the 4th. You would think with the guy with the speed of Lee in your leadoff spot, he'd be stealing more than he is.
I was just about to say the same thing. It's just kind of a strategy thing. I think the Wildcats really haven't gone to it a ton, been a lot more selective this year with it.
The 1-0 is outside and low, 1-1. Lee, that was only his 6th stolen base attempt of the season. He's now 4 of 6. And he's the team leader in stolen bases. Manny Soufrain is, by the way, right behind him. Spinning a throw back to second. That was pretty close, but Lee dives back in. In a world where Manny Soufrain potentially leads this team in stolen bases this season, that would be incredible.
Yeah, that's not happening.
The 1-1, Lee takes off for third, no throw, and Lee will be in with another stolen base. Well, maybe they're bucking the trend here. As Lee gets to third now with 1 out, and all Rodriguez has got to do is put it in the air somewhere deep, and Wildcats have another run, already up 10-6. He's ahead in the count, 2-1 on Bell. There is some throwing going on in the Alcorn State bullpen. Bell deals. Outside, 3-1. Hunter Bell, the sophomore from Sarasota, started at Three Rivers College in Missouri. Trying to better his 9 ERA on the season, but that one's not helping as that's a second walk of the inning by Bell. And the bases will be not loaded, first and third, with 1 out. The batter will be Jorge Gonzalez-Febo, who is desperate for a hit tonight. I'm going to pull up Febo's numbers from last night because in his first start of the season, coming back from injury, it was pretty unbelievable. 3 runs in 4 at-bats, 3 hits, and he was stranded once.
I was surprised early in the season all the times that we saw him come in as a pinch runner. It seems like for a guy dealing with a hand injury early in the season, probably not the best position to put him in. But again, this is a guy that very much expects to be filling a leadership void that was left behind by the likes of Garrett Chun or Colton Olison or some of the others that have departed in the offseason. Is just a sophomore who has come in and really taken a lead in the clubhouse.
We're going to see a pinch runner here for the Wildcats as Jorge Rodriguez, the catcher, departs. It will be Sergio Rivera running. And Sergio Rivera is someone that's, as a throwback to third, look at Lee. Sergio Rivera has almost been somebody who's been found out of favor despite being preseason all-conference team.
Well, we kind of knew that might be a possibility coming into the season just with how much was added in the offseason for BCU. It's not a knock on him necessarily. It's just there's a lot of talent on this BCU team that needs their ABs. And we've talked about it in the past. There will absolutely come a time in the rest of the season, I have no doubt, where he will find his way back into the lineup in some regular way, whether it's a couple of weekends in a row or in select duty on certain days of the weekend.
First pitch to Febo. There goes the runner. Throw down to second. Lee, whoa. They threw back to the pitcher, and Lee had the wherewithal to hold up at third.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but has the double steal resulted in a run once yet this year? I don't recall seeing it.
But last year it got us 3 or 4, definitely.
Oh boy. I mean, shoot, they would go to it every single time
they had runners on the corners.
First and third, which felt like every game. And early in the season, man, it felt like they connected every time. It was nuts.
Here's the 1-0. Big cut and miss at a high fastball by Febo. Febo tonight grounded into a double play to end the first inning, flied out to right field in the fourth, was hit by a pitch, and caught out on the base paths in a fielder's choice in the fifth, and he got hit. And we're going to have the bases loaded. And I was just about to get to that because Fabo was hit by a pitch in the fifth, hit by a pitch in the sixth, and now he's hit by a pitch in the eighth.
You're going to be right there up on the team leaderboard already with hit by pitches, and he's only been playing for, a cup of coffee.
Well, the team leader right now, the clubhouse leader at this point, is Manny Sufrain with 7.
Rivera's got 6, Escobar with 4. He'll hop right in there with Venegas and Newton, Try to combine them there.
Some wordsmithing going on down there. First pitch of ball to Andrew Martinez, who had the loudest hit of the ball game for the Wildcats, the 2-run homer over the old-time scoreboard in left field. One that just popped straight up in the air, and the wind carried it out. Although the wind has died down pretty significantly in the last 2 innings or so. Bases loaded, 1 out. The pitch skips back to the backstop. Here comes Lee. That's going to be a freebie. There's going to be a second run to come in as the ball gets lodged in between the padding and the netting. So they're going to send Rivera back to third. I think that's the correct call because the ball's out of play. But Lee does score on the wild pitch. And it is 11-6 Wildcats. How about this trip around the base paths for Lee? Walk, stolen base, wild pitch.
You got the speed that he does. You can kind of manufacture a run just about all by yourself.
So both runners move up. Rivera now at third, Fabo at second. The pitch is a ball. It's 3 balls and no strikes to Andrew Martinez. And right now I'd keep the bat on the shoulder as Hunter Bell, in this inning, 2 walks and a hit by pitch to put the 3 runners on for the Wildcats. The 3-0. Off the end of the bat, there's a base hit to center field. Scoring from third is Rivera. Rounding third is Fabo. He'll score without a throw. A 2 RBI single for Andrew Martinez. He's got 4 ribbies on the night, and the Wildcats are breaking it open once again. It's 13-6.
Well, didn't start pretty, but the Wildcat Bats have managed to round into form. Again, just about everybody getting involved on the action, and it hasn't necessarily been with the big swings. It's been these little rallies here or there, and these balls that just squeak over the infield down to the outfield. A very refreshing way to play baseball, one that has led to a lot of success for this BCU team over the years. And we'll finally see another switch to the bullpen. With Alcorn State, the more arms you can force into a game like this, the more you're setting up for what could be an even uglier Sunday with only a few guys they really trust back there.
I'm more interested at this point about the guy sitting in the front row with the fishing rod. Just straight up looks like he came right off the river into the ballpark.
Listen, there's worse ways to spend a day. He showed up, what, right in the first inning or so, midway through, had been hanging out. Probably did. Just saw that there was action going on over here and just thought he'd stroll right in.
So that'll be the end for Bell, and for the first time in this series, Alcorn State will go to a third pitcher. We'll get that for you momentarily. The pitcher is Andres Chirinos, the senior from Tampa, Florida, formerly at Southwestern Community College in Iowa. Chirinos on the season, making only his third appearance. Didn't record an out against Manhattan. Back on the 18th of February, gave up a run on a walk. So he must have come in with a bases loaded situation because that was his only action. He only faced one batter. And then against ULM last Tuesday, went a full inning, gave up 3 runs on 2 hits, all earned, walking 2 and allowing 1 hit. His ERA is currently 36, but of course he's only pitched an inning and technically an inning and 1 batter on the year. And Alcorn State may be the throw-in of the towel for Game 2, as the Wildcats are up 13-6.
Well, I would argue that going all the way back to the beginning, when you allow Luke Sanders to stay out there, when he allows 6-8 runs. What did he end up with? 9, I think, even credited to his name.
8.
At that point,
Yeah.
it already felt to me like the towel was thrown in. Because, yeah, sure, you're allowing for the possibility the bats could get you back in the game, but you are leaving it all on Sanders, the starter. And he gave you a good couple, and you just have nobody back there that you trust to come in and to change anything. And at that point, to me, that's basically signaling, hey, listen, this is all on you as the starter, and if you can't figure it out, we've got no shot, which is kind of unfortunate. But we see it a lot with these lower-end SWAC schools that they just don't have the depth back there. But it's also just a really tough look to not go to anybody, not try to give anybody a shot to work your way out of it. But again, trying to get your way into that tournament, wins are at a premium. If you think that's your best shot to win, who am I to argue?
It'll be Irvin Escobar with his second plate appearance in relief of Manny Soufrain, who was injured midway through an at-bat. First pitch from Chirinos, pitches up high. Hey, in an alternate reality, Andres Chirinos may be playing for the Wildcats. He's from Hialeah Gardens.
It's a shocker to see anybody from Hialeah that doesn't have maroon and gold on these days.
The 1-0 to Irvin, spinning a throwback to first, and it gets away. Into the bullpen. Rounding second and going to third is Martinez. He will stop there standing up on a 2-base error. First error of the night for either team.
Well, strange. So Callum Banks knew he didn't have the ball.
And then tagged him
But
anyway.
he tried, I don't know if he was trying to bait Martinez into thinking that, he had the ball so he would stay. I mean, if that's the case, maybe he's smarter than me trying to get that one. But everybody else in the ballpark saw it clearly sail into the bullpen. And, you lose those extra couple of seconds trying to sprint after it to try to make the play and recover it.
Well, now Irvin's got a chance for an RBI here. Runner on third, 1 out. A 1-0 pitch coming from Chirinos. Breaking ball, misses just outside. Chirinos played at Mater Academy down in South Florida. Ground ball to third, and it gets past the diving glove of Gomez. That's going to go all the way into the corner. Scoring easily is Martinez. And a stand-up ribby double for Irvin Escobar. And the carousel continues for Bethune-Cookman, 14-6. And out to argue, I'm guessing that the ball went foul is Coach Hardy, but he's not going to get much of an earful from the umpiring crew. They're going to talk about it.
Yeah, again, I feel like we have to put this disclaimer on just about every game or every couple of games where we do not have the benefit of replay in this ballpark. And therefore, we really don't give anything other than the kind of courtesy umpire conversation, but it's not one that's going to be overturned unless, if it was, I think you would have seen a dramatic call from somebody else as the play developed. You're certainly not going to see the first base, the home plate official overrule it now.
Do you remember about maybe an hour and a half ago when we were worried that the Wildcats were just going to go away in this game?
Well, it's the age-old thing that Coach Hernandez, I'm sure, will tell us when we see him, is that you get to the bullpen and good things happen. Well,
they didn't
really
need to today.
Didn't have to do that today. But, again, for me, it really comes down to, I think it was just a different look out of the gate from the starter. You adjust a little bit. You finally come back on something that's got probably 8 miles an hour, at least less than you've been used to seeing from just about every other arm you've encountered thus far to this point. And then you adjust and you make them pay. I mean, it still can have your concerns if you want, especially for Joel Correa and the very, very slow start for him. But Zambrano comes in, gives you all that energy on the mound on the other side. Only a matter of time before the bats come to life.
Now here's Jose Fernandez with Escobar on second. And whoa! He got hit up in the shoulder. First pitch from Chirinos, and maybe you can see why Chirinos has only thrown an inning and a third this season.
Well, now, don't look now, but you're an extra base hit away from calling this one early.
And
definitely devolved.
We thought early on this might be a run rule the other way if the Wildcats couldn't get it going.
I don't know if I thought that.
I certainly did at one point when it was, 6-1?
I don't know if I ever thought it would get to that. If you get run ruled by Alcorn State, I think you are.
I mean, you're Alabama A&M.
Well, right, which we'll see them in a couple of weeks.
The 1-0 from Chirinos. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hit shooter Poyeto. And the bases are loaded.
Well,
the Wildcats tonight have taken more hit-by pitches than walks. Can you find out how many hit-by pitches? I don't want to go through and count them.
yes,
I know Lee's got 2. I know Fibbo's got 3. That's 5.
And again, it's going to be no savior coming out of the bullpen, so this one's either going to end in 8 here, or
Chirinos is going to figure it out. Because
Yeah,
right
the
now
Wildcats are gonna
he's
swing at something.
not figured it out. Because since he came in, he's thrown the ball away to allow Martinez to go from first to third. Irvin Escobar doubled him in down the left field line. Then he hit by Fernandez and hit Poyeto, and the bases are loaded for Michael Rodriguez. Rodriguez looking for a bit of a redemption because he batted in place of Daniel Figueroa coming into the 7th and promptly ended that inning on one swing with a ground out to short. But again, nobody's up in the Alcorn State bullpen. I'm correctly assuming that Coach Hardy is going, listen, we got another game to play tomorrow. Let's just get out of here with the arms that we still have intact.
And that's 7 hit by pitches for you. You had Sanders with 3, and then Bell and Chirinos with 2 each.
So far. Michael Rodriguez got a pitch clock warning, by the way, coming out of that timeout.
Yeah, that's what we need now.
Yeah. First pitch to Rodriguez. Breaking ball misses outside.
You can talk about some of these SWAC tournament games we've seen over the years, whether it's Grambling State 2 years ago, Texas Southern last year. This is what the end of those games ended up feeling like, where nobody can find any kind of strike zone, hitting batters, and it just really gets ugly quickly.
Big cut and miss. Rodriguez trying to end it with one swing, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And I think even at this juncture, you got to go plate discipline here. See if you can work another walk, or if you get one down the middle, just poke it into center field. Rodriguez watches the 12-6 curve in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. We appreciate your company here tonight. End of a long day for Bryce and I. That one's in the air, left field, and charging is Duke. He won't get there, and the ball bounces over his head. That'll be 3 runs coming in to end the ball game. Coming all the way around for the inside the park home run that won't actually count is Michael Rodriguez, and this one belongs to the maroon and gold. They take a 2-0 lead in the series. After being down 6 runs, they score 15 straight and win this one. Is the score officially 16-6?
I believe it goes into 16-6, so the game immediately ends. I'll have to get some confirmation after the fact. But yes, I'm almost certain it just ends as a 10-run rule. You can't go past that. So as soon as that second run, presumptively crosses the plate, it's
how did
ball
you
game.
score? You scored that.
So it's a double, because if he followed that, we assume it would have been 2 bases.
Yep.
Double to left. Poyeto would, theoretically advance to third, and then the 2 runners scored to end the ball game.
That'll be 16-6. The Wildcats take this one over Alcorn State. They'll look to go for the sweep tomorrow, 1 p.m. You can catch our broadcast right here on the CatEye Network, or you can be like the one person I saw in the YouTube chat today said, thanks for the update. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yep, come on down.
Shout out to you.
Definitely stay tuned, though, to our social media post-game recap when it goes up in a little bit. Stay tuned to the schedule page, bcuathletics.com/baseball/schedule. Very well could be a bump up. I would say at this point, if you want to take my word for it now, more likely than not we will play at noon, but that will be confirmed on all our social media platforms at BCU Diamondcats, Twitter, Instagram, etc., as well as on the schedule page and in the recap later. Please stay tuned to that if you plan on coming down. We've had a few games this early in the season where folks have showed up early or late because we've had adjustments in the schedule. Just stay tuned so that you're not one of those. You can come here, get it in, get it on time.
And stick around on the broadcast. We're not done. We're going to wait for Coach Hernandez to come here and tell us all about it. It was a rough start for the Wildcats. In the first inning, Rayfield Adams singled, and then Nathan Gomez hit a 2-run homer over the left field wall. It didn't get any better for the Wildcats in the second after Banks walked. Farmer hit a ground rule double, and Gaston, singled them both in. Then it was 4-0. The Wildcats responded with 1 to make it 4-1. Then in the third, singles or hits from Duke, Banks, and Farmer made it 6-1 after the third inning. After that, it was all Wildcats. For the scoring for the Wildcats, Darrell Lee was hit by a pitch, single, advanced to third on a Venegas single, and was sac-flied in by Rodriguez in the first. In the third, Jeter Poyeto led it off with a triple down the left field corner. Excuse me. He was knocked in by Daniel Figueroa's RBI groundout. Then in the fourth, Rodriguez singled, and Andre Martinez, hit one up into the jet stream that carried all the way out over the old-time scoreboard in left field. And that one made it, at that time, 6-4. Then the fifth was where the Wildcats really, really broke things open. Daniel Figueroa started it off with a strikeout, but then Lee was hit by a pitch. Venegas singled. Rodriguez doubled them both in. Fabo was hit by a pitch. Martinez reached on a fielder's choice. There was 2 outs, but then Soufrain doubled, Fernandez doubled, and there ended up being 5 runs in the inning for the Wildcats. They took the lead 9-6. They would not relinquish it from there. They got 1 more in the 6th on a Venegas single, and he was then hit home by Jorge Rodriguez in a double in the power alley. Then the Wildcats wrapped it up in the 8th. Darrell Lee walked, stole 2 bases, and came in on a wild pitch. Jorge Rodriguez walked. He was replaced about first by Sergio Rivera. Fabo was hit by a pitch to load the bases. Martinez reached on an error. And then Irvin Escobar, double. Jose Fernandez, hit by pitch. Tito Poyeto, hit by pitch. And Michael Rodriguez doubled to left field to end this one officially. 16-6, a run rule victory. It doesn't really feel like a run rule victory because we've, been here for quite a while. But we'll see. Wildcats get it done, and all it does is go in the book as a W, no matter how hard you had to fight to get there.
Well, and again, if you want to nitpick, you certainly can, but there's no guarantees in baseball. No matter how bad a team looks on paper, no matter how or where they struggle, pitching, hitting, etc., there are ball players. We saw it early from Alcorn State, and you do learn lessons from things where you have to come back, you have to grit out wins in ways like they did tonight. Now, again, is it against the highest caliber of competition that you expect to see on your way to a SWAC title? Maybe not, but we've mentioned it before. It very much feels like a SWAC game in that you are given your opportunities to wait back on pitches, to stay disciplined, to work your longer at-bats, to work into at-bats that, you get down 0-2, you work your way back, or you start early and you have the opportunity to swing away, or you resist. Just little things like that. You take away lessons from everything. This is another one. Probably going to be some questions for Joel Corey at this point in terms of what exactly has gone wrong in the last two starts, because that's two now where it's been a little less than what we expect from what an incredible start, especially in the strikeout category. Immediately you wonder if maybe he's not selling out a little bit for the strikeouts as he did early in the season, kind of hunting them a little bit and letting it potentially affect the approach. We saw early how many times did he get down in the count early in this one, especially some where he'd go down 3-0. So that could be all it is. If that's it, it's just a quick approach switch, and it could be an ezy fix. It could be injury related. We hope not, obviously, but some things to work out in that rotation. The pitching staff continues to be a little bit up and down, but we will certainly keep an eye on all of it going forward.
Oh, here comes Coach Hernandez. We're just about to get him set here on the Wildcat post-game show. Once again, your final line score tonight. Bethune-Cookman, 16 runs on 16 hits. They committed no errors and left 7 on base. Alcorn State, 6 runs on 8 hits. They committed 1 error and left 4 on base. We're now joined by Coach Hernandez here on the Wildcat post-game show. Well, Coach, there was a moment about 3 innings into the game where I thought, are we going to get run ruled? Are we just going to sleepwalk our way through this? And then the bats finally showed up.
Yeah, obviously not the start, right, that you want, especially, every conference game, and that's what I just told the team, is important. We don't have the luxury of, taking a day off, especially in conference play. Alcorn is a lot better than what, they've been in the past, and that's accredited to Coach Hardy and, all the success he had at Savannah State and now bringing, that culture to Alcorn. But, I think Gene Zambrano did a very good job of settling in the game for us, kind of slowing it down. And, I think he pitched 4 shutout innings in relief for us. So, kudos to him. But, again, we have an opportunity to finish the weekend tomorrow.
4 shutout innings, 5 strikeouts, allowed 2 base runners.
Yeah, that's what he's been all year, man. Like, he's been counted on in different roles for us. And today, Coda just didn't have his stuff. And, looking forward to him to get back to, his form, and he will. But Gene just did a very good job of throwing strikes, getting ahead, and just keeping their hitters off balance. So, kudos to him, man. And it's a big win for us, down early and putting up the offense that we did. Again, just an opportunity tomorrow to finish the weekend.
The other thing that got you guys back in the game, besides Zambrano being excellent on the mound, was the defense. There were some terrific plays. The Andrew Martinez catch in right field, maybe one of the best catches I've ever seen. Terrific plays defensively by Poyeto and Venegas in the middle infield. Your teams have always been strong defensively, but this team feels like it has a chance to be something special on the defensive side.
Yeah, it does, man, and that starts right during our BP and during our defense. We decided today to just, get the guys to get fly balls off the machine because the wind was a little bit different today. It was blowing right to left. So, again, we try and prepare these guys for any situation possible and, credited to, how we worked on defense, pregame to give us an opportunity to do that stuff. So those guys just got to continue to work, man. And, as long as we play clean defense, the pitching is going to be there and the timely hitting. So we're going to be in a pretty good spot.
One last question. I think everybody wants to know. What happened on the ball that was popped up to left field and then just vanished? We didn't see it. Darrell Lee didn't see it out there. What happened?
Yeah, it was just a strong wind that got caught up there. And, from our perspective, it looked like it was foul. But I lost it kind of midair. It was in that time where the sun's going down and, cloud cover, and I actually lost it. So, the umpires just told me that, they saw that it was starting fair, and then it just hooked foul with the 20-mile-an-hour winds that we had and just blew it, foul ball. So it is what it is, and, credit to Gene there, right? Because that's a situation where a pitcher can get, I don't want to say rattled, but, all of a sudden, it's a home run, it's a foul ball, we don't know what's going on, and he came back and got us out of that inning. So good job by the Wildcats tonight.
Thank you, Coach. Congrats on the win. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it. Hail Wildcats.
Once again, the Wildcats take Game 2 of this series 16-6. They will take the series officially. We'll look to go for the sweep tomorrow at 1 o'clock, although could be pushed up to noon. Check our socials for that. For Bryce Harnoski and our entire Wildcat crew here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, my name is Michael Turillo. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow afternoon. Hail Wildcats.